So the left now has an issue with calling things that aren't actually a genocide. This, the same people who brought you the African-American genocide supposedly going on right now, the transgender genocide supposedly going on right now. But they have a big issue with President Trump calling out the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, in the Oval Office today for what Trump is terming a genocide of white farmers. It was another wild day at the White House just a couple of hours ago, a confrontation that, frankly, folks, I have never seen from any world leader, perhaps ever before. President Trump invites Ramaphosa to the White House. It was not, as the leftist media is suggesting, an ambush. The purpose of the discussion was specifically to discuss the land seizures and violent attacks, often murders of specifically white farmers, by these South African thug gangs that are allowed to roam free in the rural parts of the country. This was well on par, and I believe exceeded the fireworks a couple of months ago when Volodymyr Zelensky was at the White House and apparently kicked out after a confrontation with President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. There was a metaphorical kiss and makeup as the rare earth mineral deal was eventually signed, and I suspect that the South African government will eventually come around to President Trump's point of view, as pretty much every other country has on the issue of trade. But make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, this South African government, just like the previous one under avowed anti-white racist Jacob Zuma, is no friend to the United States. It should therefore be no surprise that the American media is siding with Ramaphosa over the president of the United States. We have got a whole ton of audio sound bites from that Oval Office meeting today. And as you would expect from the Dan O'Donnell Show, we will break it down for you. We will bring you the facts about what exactly is going on in South Africa. Is it a genocide? Technically, no. Is there absolutely race-based targeting of white people by the black majority in South Africa several decades after apartheid? There absolutely is. Have there been racially motivated killings and vicious attacks on white farmers? Yes, there have been. Have there been forcible seizures of white farmland, kicking off white people and making them into the refugees that came to the United States a couple of weeks ago? Incidentally, the only refugees that Democrats don't want in this country were the white Afrikaners, or South Africans, white South Africans, who President Trump welcomed. We will get into all of that. I have also learned exclusive new details about the murder-suicide at UW Platville, exactly what was going on inside that dorm room where one female student shot and killed another and then shot and killed herself. We will get into that either in the 4 o'clock hour or the 5 o'clock hour. We have got a lot to get to, plus a whole lot on the cover-up of President Joe Biden's declining mental state. And now you throw in there an obvious cover-up of his prostate cancer. Daily Trump Date, unhinged liberal of the day, unsung hero of the day. And it's Wednesday. We play Guess What's Racist. All of that and more on the Dan O'Donnell Show this afternoon. Spring Green Cash Contest word this hour is GRAND, G-R-A-N-D, GRAND. You have got until 55 past the hour to go to our website, and enter the keyword grand to enter the contest for this hour. If your entry is picked at random, you will win a grand, $1,000 in your pocket. Only today, tomorrow, and Friday to win $1,000. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we will never, ever, ever again have a text-in or website-based $1,000 cash contest. We are never doing it again. Until like the middle of July, of course, when we start it all up again with the sizzling summer cash contest. But a few more chances to win today, tomorrow, and Friday. And believe it or not, we are already in to Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. It is MLK Day coming up. Oh, it's not. I'm sorry. You could have fooled me with the weather. It is actually Memorial Day, but it feels a whole lot like January in Wisconsin and not May. I know. I was just spoiled by the 75, 80-degree days last week. And, of course, it being Wisconsin, you immediately have to drop the temperature like 40 degrees, and it rained for like 48 consecutive hours. That's where we are right now. You want to join the Dan O'Donnell Show to complain about the weather or to weigh in on anything and everything? Forget about Open Line Friday. It's Open Line every day. Oftentimes, we don't have a lot of time to take phone calls, but we are always looking at your texts. If you've got something to add, the adventknows.com talk and text line is always open at 414-799-1130. Reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. You can email me, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, and you can watch the show streaming live on our YouTube channel. All right. Cyril Ramaphosa. He is the president of a divided coalition government in South Africa. Following the fall of apartheid and the death of former president and political prisoner Nelson Mandela, there has been a decided left-wing lurch in the country, and along with that communist-leaning leftist government and governance, there has been a sense of a desire for revenge amongst the 75 to 80% Black population of South Africans against the former oppressors, the white Afrikaners, or white South Africans, who comprise just 8.4% of the population. It was remarkable. Most of these are of Dutch descent. You also have some Australians in there, but it's primarily Dutch. It was always remarkable to me that under apartheid, you had 8.4% of the population governing a race-based governmental hierarchical structure over a population of 80% of the people who were being oppressed. But as we all learned in kindergarten, two wrongs do not, under any circumstances, make a right, unless, of course, you are a leftist. In that case, revenge is perfectly fine politics. And revenge is what has been going on for at least the last 7 or 8 years. In 2018, the South African government began seizing land from white farmers as part of a, say it with me, redistribution effort. It commenced on August 19th with the appropriation of 2 large game farms. According to the Johannesburg-based newspaper City Press, those farms, which were located in a northern province, were unilaterally seized after their owners refused to accept a combined $2.8 million payment from the government. That sounds like great money until you consider the fact that the properties were worth a minimum of 10 times more than that. The seizures did not stop, whether or not they were government-backed. What has been going on is that typically much smaller family farms have been targeted by marauding bands of thugs. And yes, black farmers, black South Africans have been caught up in this as well. But because of the overwhelming desire for revenge that sort of courses through far too many black South Africans as motivated by the truly hateful rhetoric of governments that came before Ramaphosa's, you have seen this take on a decidedly racist tint. The majority of those who have been brutally beaten, killed, forced off of their lands by either government actors or these bands of criminals are white. At the White House today, Ramaphosa was asked about this, as you could imagine. He denied that this was going on, that there was any sort of anti-white racism or anti-white hate crime going on in his country. President Trump did something I truly never thought I would see in the White House or from any other leader. He didn't just bring the receipts in the form of news articles that he brought out, which he did. He played a video of South African government officials all talking about killing or attacking white people.
Turn the lights down, and just put this on. It's right behind you.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one.
Now, that is not Ramaphosa. That is, I believe, Zuma in that first cut. The cuts keep going, and then President Trump plays remarkable video of thousands of white crosses and cars lined up for a memorial procession of those white farmers who have been killed over the past several years.
These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed.
It was truly remarkable. The video is somewhat hard to watch, especially when you kind of zoom in and you can see just how many people have been killed in racially motivated attacks. The very first question after that video was played was, of course, about a Qatari jet. We'll get to that in just a second. NBC's Peter Alexander just got absolutely pooped on by President Trump, verbally speaking, of course, not literally, thank heavens. That would be something I've never seen in the White House either. But Alexander opens up with a totally unrelated gotcha question, and we will get into the media's coverage of this, which is a big part of the story coming up a little bit later on here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. A reporter then, who actually has half a brain, then asked Ramaphosa, hey, do you condemn this sort of stuff?
You denounce that type of language in the video that you saw.
Oh, yes. We've always done so. As government, as my own party, we are completely opposed to that. We, in 1955, adopted a document which said South Africa belongs to all who live in it.
But why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, kill the white farmers, kill the white farmers. And then he danced, and he's dancing, and it's kill the white farmers. I'm not sure, but I think if somebody got up in Parliament and started saying kill a certain group of people, he would be arrested very quickly. That man is going all over South Africa, and that's not a small party. That was a stadium that holds 100,000 people, and I hardly saw an empty seat. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of representation. And those crosses, we have dead white people, dead white farmers mostly. And you take a look at Australia, they're being inundated, and we're being inundated with people that want to get out. And their farm is valueless. it's valueless, and they just want to get out with their life. And this is a very serious situation.
It certainly is. I believe the man he was talking about was, in fact, Zuma, the former president of South Africa, who was staggeringly, and I mean staggeringly, anti-white. It's basically how he came to power. He demonized the white minority, and he was an open racist against them. In fact, a whole lot of the feeling by black criminals that they can just attack whites with impunity comes from his presidency. But a South African reporter asked Trump, what will it take to convince you there is no white genocide? Now, nobody, as far as I can tell, ever asked old Joe Biden, what will it take to convince you there is no trans genocide in the United States? I am feasting upon the irony here of the same people calling every freaking thing that they don't like happening a genocide, getting upset at President Trump saying race-based killings is genocidal in nature. Is there an element in South Africa, and I will, as bad as Ramaphosa is, and he is quite bad, as you can tell, I have sort of been following the white, I'm not going to call it a genocide because then I'll get fact-checked by PolitiFact Wisconsin. I have been following what's been going on in South Africa. I think it is a fascinating case study in human nature and the innate desire for revenge and what happens when leftist politics sort of allow for the raging id of humanity to get that revenge and to sort of get that satisfaction of getting back at former oppressors. I mean, this is sort of what's going on in South Africa, and what has gone on in South Africa is sort of the highly dangerous end goal of what highly racialized politics in America will get us. What happens when you constantly tell people that they are oppressed, that they will never get ahead because of the color of their skin, because there is one other skin color that is making it its mission to keep them down? We just had the unhinged liberal of the day. What is that Chia Pet looking guy? Ellie Mistel from MSNBC saying, black people can't save the country from white folks. We can't do it alone. Hispanics, we need you to save the country from those evil white people. What is the natural end result? If that mentality goes unchecked, it's, well, we should be able to forcibly redistribute the ill-gotten wealth. What do you get when slaves built America? America was built on slave labor. We need reparations to pay us for the work that people hundreds of years ago did. It's the redistribution at the tip of a sword that ultimately is, I'm not going to say the end goal of leftist politics, but if we don't have a rule of law, and what do you know, they don't seem to respect the rule of law anymore, this is where it gets, where you just sort of take things from white people and redistribute them to black people. So this South African reporter asks, well, President Trump, what will it take to convince you that there is no white genocide going on in the country?
What will it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for President. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
Our president will respond to you.
Yeah, let me,
Thank you, Mr. President.
it will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us around a quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me.
Let's check in with that Minister of Agriculture. His name is John Henry Steenhuisen. And Ramaphosa said, okay, John, you are a member of the opposition party. You don't like me. I don't like you. In South Africa, as in parliamentary governmental systems, sometimes you need to have two different parties come together to form what's known as a coalition government. That's what happened. Tell him, John, there is no issue with the systematic murder and seizure of farmland in South Africa. Steenhuisen said, well, actually, it is a massive problem, and you're not doing enough to stop it.
I would say we have a rural safety problem in South Africa. I don't think anyone wants to candy coat that.
He says, if you couldn't make that out, he says, I will say we have a rural safety problem in South Africa, and no one wants to candy coat that.
And it requires a lot of effort to get on top of it. It's going to require more policing resources. It's going to require a different strategy to be able to deal with it. But certainly the majority of South Africa's commercial and smallholder farmers really do want to stay in South Africa and make it work. And I've just come from the largest agricultural show in the Southern Hemisphere with organized agriculture and farmers, and the majority of them want to stay. But they too, they have a memorial to those who died as a result of farm attacks. And as the Minister of Agriculture, it is something that I'm particularly exercised with my colleagues in police and my colleagues in the justice cluster to stop making farm attacks and stock theft a priority crime. And it affects all farmers in South Africa.
He said, black, white, it doesn't matter, but yes, farm attacks are a real problem. Now, the other people, Trump's friends that the president of South Africa was referencing, who do you suppose? I mean, he could bring anybody from the world, anybody from South Africa to try to convince Donald Trump, specifically Donald Trump, that there is no white genocide in South Africa. Who do you think he would bring? Golfers. He brought Ernie Els, one of the best to ever play the game. And also, do you remember the goose, Retief Goosen, was in the Oval Office at the invitation of Ramaphosa. And he goes, all right, Goose, tell President Trump there are no systemic attacks against white farmers. Goosen said, well, actually, my dad's a farmer and a bunch of his friends were killed by marauding black gangs. So
I grew up in an area in South Africa that is a farmland area, Polokwane. And there is some issues up there, obviously. My dad was a property developer as well as a part-time farmer. And some of these buddy farmers got killed. The farm is still going. My brothers run it. But it's a constant battle with farms they're trying to burn the farms down to chase you away. So it is a concern to try and make a living as a farmer. And at the end, without farmers, there's no food on the plate.
Remember, this was the guy brought in by the South African president to say, no, they're not brutalizing and killing white farmers to try to chase them away and then take their farmland, who said, yeah, they're totally brutalizing and killing white farmers to try to chase them away and seize their farmland. In spite of this, in spite of the South African agriculture minister saying this is happening, in spite of Retief Goosen saying this happened to his dad's buddies at the Oval Office, the media is still falling back on the same old trope of saying Trump is repeating debunked claims. We will get to that aspect and debunk the would-be debunkers. Coming up next here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela. Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
Heroes like Austin Reese have paid a high price for our freedom. Austin served 3 deployments to Iraq. He spent 13 years with the Navy Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit and became a military freefall instructor. But in what was thought to be a routine jump, something went terribly wrong. Austin was left paralyzed. Tunnel to Towers built Austin a specially adapted smart home. Help heroes. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for my friends at the Lynch family of dealerships. And one of my favorite things about Lynch is they give back to the communities they do business in. And this month, they're honoring our military personnel. For the month of May, it's Military Appreciation Month at Lynch. Members of the military receive $1,000 off all eligible new cars. And with over 700 new vehicles in stock, Lynch likely has the vehicle you're looking for all ready to go. And every vehicle comes with Lynch Protected. It covers your tires, windshield, and paint for 1 year and keeps your vehicle looking like new. Financing as low as 0%. Also available this month, Military Appreciation Month, at your favorite Lynch location in Burlington, Kenosha, West Bend, or one of their 3 rooftops in Mukwonago. Military Appreciation Month with $1,000 off new vehicles and financing as low as 0% at the Lynch family of dealerships. Visit shoplynch.com.
Cutting down any tree is dangerous for climbers or arborists and bucket trucks. To protect friends, I helped develop Cut & Go's automobile-mounted remote-controlled crane that grabs, cuts, and gently lowers large chunks of even the most dangerous or precariously placed tree simply and safely. Send pictures and Cut & Go will send a quote. If you can clean up after Cut & Go's half service puts trees on the ground, you'll save big money. A Trees and Tons movement. cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com.
It's the Buy Now, Save Now event going on at all Russ Darrow locations. With the lowest cost of vehicle ownership in years, now's the time to upgrade your ride. Visit any Russ Darrow location across Wisconsin or russdarrow.com to save big today.
Start summer with Memorial Day Brewers action and Dollar Hot Dog Day. Keep the long weekend going as the crew battles the Red Sox for 3 games May 26th through the 28th. Get your seats now at Brewers.com.
Bob here for Redefine Realty, powered by EasyHomeBidder.com.
Brian here. I was in the market to buy my first home. I rushed to see houses the day they went live on MLS. Made offers on 5 houses before finally getting the 6th accepted. I would have increased my bid on all 5 of the other houses I didn't get, but never got the chance.
Brian's story is tragic for Brian, but also for sellers. Brian would have paid more for each of the 5 houses he didn't get. That's 5 sellers guided by traditional MLS agents who sold their home for less than they could have. Redefined Realty, powered by EasyHomeBidder.com's auction platform and MLS, would have earned all 5 Wisconsin area home sellers more money. A lot more money. Selling a fixer-upper, a duplex, a condo, a $400,000 home, or a multi-million-dollar home. When buyers bid, sellers win. In fact, when buyers bid, buyers win too. Heck, everybody wins. EasyHomeBidder.com. Buyers win, sellers win. Obvious, but revolutionary. When buyers win, sellers win. It's real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
Do you have children under the age of 18? Have more than $50,000 in assets? Without a proper estate plan, the government will create one for you. Learn more on Your Hometown Lawyer from Mielek Law, Saturday at 3 on WISN. Visit MielekLawWI.com. And remember, fail to plan, plan to fail.
For safe, purified water right from your faucet, the solution is crystal clear.
Any project, big or small, when it comes to water, one call does it all. SNK, pump and plumbing.
I love Mother's Day, but why just today? Why not make May the month of mothers? Every mom is special and every day special at the Sawmill Restaurant and Pub in Ridgefield. Just take the Holy Hill exit from Highway 41, turn west, and then take the first right at Wolf Road. The Sawmill will be just around the bend on your left.
ACI accredited NARI member, A+ BBB rating, dwelling contractor certified, fully insured and bonded, licensed in Wauwatosa, Milwaukee, and Wisconsin for 25 years, standing behind the concrete Wisconsin businesses and residents stand on. DornbrookConstruction.com.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
I'm still chuckling at what the left in this country will and will not call a genocide. Trans people killing themselves, genocide. Race-based killings in South Africa, nah, not a genocide at all. At least when President Trump calls it that. So now we are pushing for a literal definition of genocide. Do not ever misuse for political gain the term genocide, unless you're talking about trans people killing themselves. No, it does not meet the definition of a genocide. The last genocide that we had was, we've had far too many attempted genocides. The Rwanda, 1994, obviously the Armenian genocide took a long while for us, and the biggie, the attempted genocide of the Jewish people during the Holocaust. There was the attempted genocide, was it in Serbia during the Kosovo War? Yeah, Laos and Cambodia. Yeah, oh yeah, Cambodia, absolutely. Great pull, Eric. Those would meet the definitions of genocides or attempted genocides. What we have here is what I believe to be the not necessarily government authorization. You have to sort of break down South Africa into the Jacob Zuma reign of terror, as well as Ramaphosa, who is from the more left-wing faction of South African political parties, but is being moderated some by a more conservative white party that he had to form a coalition with. Neither side particularly cares for each other. But what is being allowed to happen, and what has been allowed to happen, is undoubtedly the seizure of white farmland and the indiscriminate killing and terrorism aimed at white farmers in an attempt to get their land. With all of this as a backdrop at the Oval Office this afternoon, with all of this going on, what is the very first question that President Trump gets? I mean, these are heavy world issues. Is South Africa really trying to kill white people? President Trump, is he bringing in true refugees? And also now I love the fact that the white South Africans who are fleeing a race-based oppressive system of governance, these are not refugees. The 350,000 Venezuelans who are allowed to come in and given temporary protected status because there's poverty in their country. Now, those were refugees. The left's ability to just magically redefine words is breathtaking. You know, the only reason they get away with this is because they control the traditional media, as we'll see in the 4 o'clock hour with respect to the cover-up of Joe Biden. Very first question. After all this heavy stuff is just laid out on the fireworks at the Oval Office, what is the very first question? It comes from NBC's Peter Alexander, trying to resurrect the debunked story of President Trump getting a bribe from the Qatari government.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? You gotta get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing. They also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back. You ought to go back to your studio at NBC because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead.
I told you it was a wild day at the White House today. President Trump, by the way, right now welcoming the Florida Gators, the NCAA basketball champions, to the White House. A lot of smiling faces there. We will cover all that and more in the Daily Trump Date coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Now, just when you thought that an effort to sort of change the subject will be the worst media moment that you might see today, CNN says, hold my beer, after President Trump plays a long video of South African leaders chanting, "Kill the Boer," meaning white people. They brought on a reporter from Kenya, I believe he was stationed in, who said, no. The chant, "Kill the Boer," doesn't actually mean kill the Boer. It's more like down with apartheid.
What the videos show is Julius Malema, the far left opposition leader of South Africa. His party is called the Economic Freedom Fighters, and it also showed former President Jacob Zuma. What Julius Malema was singing, "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer," was an anti-apartheid song from the struggle against white minority rule in South Africa. They've explained that this is not a literal attack, call to attack and kill the farmer, because of the historical nature of that. But it's been weaponized by groups in South Africa and increasingly by the MAGA right in the United States to essentially misrepresent what is going on in the country.
Ah, yes. They're not actually saying kill the Boer as Boers are being killed. They're saying, we don't want to go back to that form of government that fell 30-some years ago. Way to go, CNN. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Back in just a sec.
Keep in touch with Dan on Twitter at Dan O'Donnell Show. More of the show next.
Spring means that green is busting out everywhere, including your wallet. If you play the nationwide Spring Green Cash Contest on Newstalk 1130 WISN 9 times each weekday, listen for the keyword, enter it at newstalk1130.com, and you might snag the hourly prize of $1,000.
The Spring Green Cash Contest is presented by ARR Recycling. Recycling pays. Bring your copper, brass, lead, steel, or aluminum to their West Dallas or Waukesha locations and get cash. ARR Recycling since 1938.
Hey all, it's Dan. Want to tell you about my friends at Weather Pro Exteriors. It's really an important time now, especially with the severe weather, the big storms. There was a whole ton of damage. And there are going to be a lot of fly-by-night contractors offering roof and siding replacement, but you want to go with a locally owned and operated reputable business like Weather Pro Exteriors. They're the people you can trust, and they offer workmanship and product warranties on all of their products. It gives you peace of mind, and you know that you're working with somebody who is trustworthy and who guarantees their work. That's the biggest thing about them. They're certified, licensed installers. They bring quality workmanship to every single product. And right now, you can get $1,000 off a full roof replacement plus a $200 Quick Trip gift card. Just head to weatherproexteriors.com.
Academic Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
I don't have time for a home project this year. I don't want to deal with the home improvement dragging on and on. It doesn't have to. Hi, Colleen with Tri-County Contracting. If a new roof is needed this year, we can make the entire project move quickly and be worry-free. No responsibility will be on your shoulders. We'll take care of everything. Worry-free roofing is an instant roof quote button right on our website, tricountycontractingwi.com. Name, address, and email, and you will have your price. Worry-free roofing is a fast and easy estimate process. Worry-free roofing is out with that old, tired, leaking roof and in with a new, beautiful dimensional shingle roof. Worry-free roofing is a quick and annoyance-free roof install. No material or dumpster sitting for days or weeks. Most homes are completed in just one day. Worry-free roofing is a lifetime product warranty and a lifetime workmanship warranty. It's also getting free enrollment in the Every Year Inspection Program, where you get a free roof inspection and maintenance every year for 10 years. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting.
Tune in every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. as Ellen Becker Investment Group highlights local people and organizations who are using their time and their talents to give back to make a difference in our community. Milwaukee's philanthropic community. Visit ellenbecker.com to learn more.
Want to work at a shooting range, firearm training center, and gun store? At both Fletcher Arms locations in Waukesha and Pewaukee, we have immediate openings for customer service, sales, shipping and receiving, and range safety officer team members, offering flexible schedules, full and part-time positions, employee perks, as well as medical and 401k benefits for full-time employees. Firearms knowledge is a plus, but not required. Visit either location to apply. Fletcher Arms, Wisconsin's favorite family-run shooting destination since 1978.
This message is for anyone hit by the recent severe weather in the area. Right now, there are dozens of out-of-town roofing companies descending on Milwaukee and the surrounding counties looking to make a fast buck. These storm chasers use high-pressure fear tactics to get you to sign a contract on the spot. As soon as the storm business dries up, they're on to the next town and nowhere to be found if you need warranty work done on your roof. Stick with a local roofer. Call Semper Fi Roofing for a fast, free 21-point inspection and estimate, world-class customer service, and skilled installation. They work with all insurance companies, and best of all, Semper Fi offers a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. If anything, and I mean anything, goes wrong with that roof due to workmanship or materials, Semper Fi will fix it for free. The roof on your home is too important to take a chance. Work with a local, trusted roofer. Call Semper Fi Roofing today, 262-600-2910, or online at semperfiroofing.com.
You know I like to tell customer stories, so here's another one. A customer walks up to me and says, "You really have an unbelievable company. I mean, the service that you give for those small parts, the unique products you can't get at any other store, even the antique glass. Like if you have a really old curio cabinet, an antique table, old cabinetry, or new cabinetry that you want to make look old, or an antique door that you just want to keep period correct. We have sheets of antique glass here, and you can hand select it. It's hard to find that anywhere else." I was walking through our glass shop the other day, and one of our guys was reglazing an old door. And I stopped them and said, "Hey, we really need to call the customer and get some of our antique glass in there. It's just going to look way better." And it did. The products you'll find here are bountiful, and some are unique. And we ship all over the country every day. This is David Wilhelm, and your clear choice for more is Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Here's what's trending now on the new and improved iHeartRadio app.
Sarah Jessica Parker almost walked away from Sex and the City. She talks about that and a lot more on Are You a Charlotte? Plus, Snoop Dogg spills about his inauguration performance backlash, and trust me, he's got a lot of things to say about it with the Breakfast Club. And Aubrey O'Day, Diddy's former protege, joins Amy Robach and TJ Holmes for exclusive coverage of the trial that's gripping the nation.
Explore the latest. Open the free iHeartRadio app and see what's trending now.
On the AdventNews.com talking text line, a listener says, "Dan, that CNN clip of a reporter trying to convince viewers that the chant 'kill the boar' does not actually mean kill the boar, but is sort of more like down with apartheid. This is CNN's Let's Go Brandon moment." You know who knows a little something about just how awful the mainstream national media is? Perhaps the most famous South African in the world, certainly the richest, the world's richest man, Elon Musk. He was on CNBC this morning, and he was asked about what leftists across Wisconsin are celebrating over the past couple of days, his decision not to, or at least his statement that he wasn't going to spend as much coming up in the midterms. By the way, you people do know that Elon flies by the seat of his pants in all things, right? Like, I had him on the show on Election Day back on April 1st. I did not know whether he was actually going to be calling, and I don't believe that even his inner circle knew whether he was going to be calling until literally about 10 to 15 minutes before he actually called. That's how quickly the man changes his mind. But on CNBC this morning, he was asked about his decision not to spend as much and whether the experience with politics left him a little jaded. His answer, spectacular.
What the videos show...
Whoops, not that one, this
one.
My
question is more about your work at Doge, for example. Was that worth it? You know, to the extent you are now, Elon, you were a somewhat divisive figure 2 years ago, but now you really are. I mean, there are people who love you, but there are a lot of people who dislike you, some of whom were your customers. And I wonder, was it worth the undertaking at Doge and everything else that you've done and how outspoken you've been in terms of the things you believe in to antagonize so many potential buyers and or users of things like a robo-taxi?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, what I've learned is that legacy media propaganda is very effective at making people believe things that aren't true.
What would an example of that be?
That I'm a Nazi, for example. And how many legacy media publications, talk shows, whatever, try to claim that I was a Nazi because of some random hand gesture at a rally where all I said was that my heart goes out to you, and I was talking about space travel.
Yes. People forget about that. The context. So he was talking about, let's all go to space. My heart goes out to you. Nazi salute. That's what the media tried to convince you. Why? Politics. They're not reporters. They are propagandists, and we will show it in, as we always do, painstaking detail here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Before we get to that, though, we get to the unhinged liberal of the day, and that is coming up next.
From the Lynch Truck Center in Waterford Total Traffic Center.
Jam solid 894 northbound Beloit to National from an earlier accident between the Hale and the Zoo, taking you 20 minutes. 20 westbound on 94. You're stopping and going 25th to Mitchell Boulevard. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Lynch Automotive family of dealerships.
It's Military Appreciation Month at the Lynch family of dealerships. Eligible military personnel get $1,000 off any new vehicle. Plus, enjoy financing as low as 0%. Visit shoplynch.com today.
Dan O'Donnell, here it is this week with Annex Wealth Management. Dave Spano is the CEO of Annex. And Dave, this week, Moody's downgraded the United States. It generated massive headlines, but really, what does that mean?
You think about it, Dan, and Moody's downgrading is really a big thing if you think that the market is paying attention to it. You know, right now, the arbiter is the market. And right now, we saw no movement in Treasury rates. Now, Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, said this is a lagging indicator. In other words, he was saying the deficits that were in the previous administration is what led to this. The good news is what's coming out of the potential tax bill is some type of reduction in the deficit. That is good for this country because, as we've talked about over and over again, Dan, this deficit leads to debt. That debt is so big right now that it's crowding out other parts of the budget. So let's take a look at this, see if the market really reacts to it. The 10-year Treasury didn't really move that much. But for you listening to this right now, this does have an effect on what your investments do look like. You've got to know what you own, why you own it, and how much you're paying for it. And right now, with all of this uncertainty, now is the time to do it.
That's right. And that's why you need to head to annexwealth.com to get a review of your portfolio. As Dave said, it's not just enough to know what you own. You also really do need to know what you're paying for it, why you own it, why it's a part of your family's future, because that ultimately is what it's about. Your future and the future of your family. Again, AnnexWealth.com. For Dave Spano, the CEO of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell saying thank you so much for listening to This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
I'm Patty from Prospect Hill.
Prospect Hill is a destination garden center. People from across southeastern Wisconsin come for our superior variety of Wisconsin-grown, climate-acclimated perennials.
Mike's right. Think about it. If you invest in perennial happiness with flowers, shrubs, and trees, don't you want the best, most beautiful, healthy plants and nursery stock?
Unlike hardware stores or chain garden centers, Prospect Hill grows plants. Grown right here in New Berlin, our perennials are hardier and healthier.
Because we are the grower, there is no middleman driving up the price. Our superior plants cost less at Prospect Hill. Our trees, shrubs, and perennial flowers bring a lifetime of happiness.
Even the soil we use, a proprietary mix of beneficial ingredients and mycorrhizae, help perennials start stronger, larger, and prettier in this climate.
Your yard will be a slice of paradise. Make every normal day abnormally beautiful with Prospect Hill, National Avenue and Racine Avenue in New Berlin. Bloomsite.com.
The real estate industry insiders know who to call when it's time to sell their home. This is Chris Leby with Lake Country Flat Fee. We've built up a solid track record of helping out our fellow real estate colleagues over the years. Former realtors, mortgage professionals, real estate attorneys. Being in the business, they know our reputation and they're confident we'll deliver them results and savings. Our sellers save about 50% versus a traditional 6% broker. To learn more or to schedule a free market analysis, visit our website at lakecountryflatfee.com.
Restoring your home or business to its natural beauty is our only business. We are Wisconsin's most trusted carpet cleaner for over 75 years.
Edelman Carpet Furniture and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman.
Grab your shades, your flip-flops, and your free iHeartRadio app for the start of summer 2025. No matter where you go this summer, your favorite radio station, the music you love, and the best podcasts in the world will be along for the adventure. Make sure you have the free iHeartRadio app in your phone today.
Is your garage floor cracked and pitted or ugly and flaky because an epoxy job didn't hold up? They're the gold standard for concrete floor coatings, screened and approved by Home Advisor. That's Comer & Cross, online at comercross.com. Call 262-788-6430 right now.
After winning Game 2 at Texas, the Milwaukee Admirals return home for Game 3 in their best-of-5 series against the Stars. Middle of the ice, picked off. Here's a breakaway for Weisblatt. Weisblatt, shoot, scores! Pre-game coverage Wednesday at 6:30, face-off at 7 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
So what is the truth about what's going on in South Africa? It is rather obvious that... Did I hit that? Did I hit that sound? Wow, we had two songs playing at the same time, and I'm just assuming I accidentally hit a button that I shouldn't have been playing. What is the truth about what's going on in South Africa? Roughly 60 farmers per year are killed. It's give or take about 60. Now, they do not pointedly break this number down by race, at least on any official channel that I could find in perusals today. But it is well known that white farmers have had their lands seized and they have been the victims of terrorism for quite some time now, going back at least 10 to 15 years. Expropriation, which is basically the seizure of farmland, has been legal for quite some time. It was used during apartheid for white government officials to kick black farmers off their land. That's been on the books for at least 50 years. In January of 2024, President Ramaphosa signed a brand new expropriation act into law. It has not yet been used, at least as far as I know, without compensation. But what it does allow the government to do is to kick anyone off of their farmland for any reason whatsoever if the government needs the land. This is not what is the big issue in South Africa. It is the blind eye that has been turned to black thugs terrorizing white farmers and seizing their land. Those farmers, a number of them showed up in the United States as refugees last week. We will get to the unhinged liberal of the day at the start of the next hour. I wanted to make sure I put a bow on our discussion about what happened at the Oval Office today, because undoubtedly you are not going to get the truth anywhere else. The truth about President Biden and Jake Tapper's cynical attempt to cash in, coming up next, plus the daily Trump date on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Listen to Benjamin Yount, weekday mornings 9 to 11 on News Talk 1130 WISN Milwaukee. And make WISN the #1 preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. Silver Spot Cinema, that's the upscale movie theater at the corners of Brookfield, will permanently close on June 16th. Ridership on Amtrak's Borealis line had over 200,000 passengers in its first year of operation. And President Trump met with the president of South Africa in the Oval Office today.
People are fleeing South Africa for their own safety. Their land is being confiscated, and in many cases, they're being killed.
South African President Cyril Ramaphosa explained victims of violence are both white and black, and said those calling for the deaths of white farmers represent a minority political group. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The 4 o'clock business report brought to you by the Good Feet store. The Dow down today, 816 points. The NASDAQ fell 270, while the S&P lost 95. Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard, Brewers lose the Orioles in extra innings, 8-4. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Today's rain won't be quite as heavy as yesterday, but will continue with showers off and on right through into the overnight. High near 48, strong northeast wind throughout the day today, shifting northwest tonight. We'll go from 48 during the day to 46 tonight, and then back into the 50s tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Terminix Batzner. Mosquitoes aren't just a nuisance. They can transmit dangerous diseases too. That's why Batzner Pest Control is proud to offer mosquito extermination services to keep your family and property safe year-round. To schedule your $69 initial mosquito control service, visit Batzner.com today.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela! Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
Heroes like Austin Reese have paid a high price for our freedom. Austin served 3 deployments to Iraq. He spent 13 years with the Navy Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit and became a military freefall instructor. But in what was thought to be a routine jump, something went terribly wrong. Austin was left paralyzed. Tunnel to Towers built Austin a specially adapted smart home. Help heroes. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
We're the Libby family
at Do-It-Yourself Bathroom Center near State Fair on 62nd and Greenfield.
Bathrooms and kitchens are our specialty. We use real wood cabinets and quartz tops to make beautiful rooms you will love for many, many years.
And our experts really know their stuff. Remember our slogan,
I did it myself at Do It Yourself.
I'm Kelly Lammert with Clean Living Environments. Clean Living Environments, superior agitation, high-powered suction gets more filth out of your furnace ducts. Crud doesn't unstick from surfaces. It became glued in place over years of humid, then dry, then humid airflow. Vacuum cleaners agitate. Suction alone doesn't get carpet clean. Next, Clean Living Environments gets more wasted air out of ducts with AeroSeal duct sealing. Loosely fit together tin pipes snakes from the furnace through walls to vents. Loosely boxed off stud space spaces, and right-angle turns return unheated or cooled air to furnaces. Dank basement air is sucked into gaps and distributed throughout the house, while tonnage of heated or cooled air escapes before being distributed throughout the home, resulting in more dust, musty smells, not enough heated or cooled air to parts of the house, and larger energy bills. Clean Living Environments duct sealing reduces air duct leakage 70 to 99%, reducing gas consumption while increasing whole home comfort and cleanliness. Get more out of your ducts. CleanLivingEnvironments.com. That's CleanLivingEnvironments.com.
Seed oils, the number one source of American calories, are combustion engine fuel and industrial lubricants. Seed oils cause arthritis, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, and chronic illness. It's not theory. Relativity equals expertise plus execution. TotalHealthInc.com.
Your nose is for breathing. Your mouth is for eating. Your body wants to. It's because it has to, because your nose isn't working properly. And although you've lived like this, it's no way to live, and it's having a significant impact on your life. I know you know this, and I know that taking action isn't always convenient. But at Advent, we've done all we can to make changing your life for the better as easy as possible. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. With tens of thousands of our patients, a thorough nose and throat evaluation, along with the simple 20-minute in-office procedure called balloon sinuplasty, has opened their nasal passages, allowing them to breathe freely through their nose for good. And there's a good chance this procedure can do the same for you. We'll help you breathe through your nose again, and it will change your life.
Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Most insurance accepted.
Get your rock solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at ACCUNET.com.
News Talk 1130 WISN.
Who is the single worst person in national news media? A lot of contenders, but I would posit that it's Jake Tapper. For years, he covered up Biden's declining mental acuity. Now he's trying to cash into the tune of millions by reporting on the cover-up that he willingly and gleefully took part in. We will get to that in just a second. First, we weren't able to get to it at the bottom of the last hour, so at the top of this hour, it is time to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
All white people are racist.
Trump is dangerous because he's evil. America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day is a woman who seems to have consumed a bit too much national news media. She says she's not going to have children because of Trump.
Last night, and the conversation my fiance and I had before we went to bed was, if this happens, we won't be having kids. At least not in the next 4 years. We definitely can't have them in the state we live in now. I'm already a high risk, and if we wait 4 years, I'll be pushing 36, which makes me high risk and a geriatric pregnancy, which means it's probably never going to happen for me. Not here in the U.S., definitely not here in Charleston, South Carolina.
The white women libs are not okay, ladies and gentlemen. Why can't she have kids in South Carolina, I wonder? Regardless, she is your unhinged liberal of the day. Spring Green Cash Contest, word this hour, bills. BILLS, bills. You have got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword bills to enter the contest for this hour. Your entry is picked at random. You win $1,000 to pay your bills. It's just that easy. In 2023, Jake Tapper was furious at Republicans for their cruel pursuit of President Biden's son, Hunter.
I do have to say, whatever you think of Hunter Biden, and there's certainly a lot of people in this town, Democrats and Republicans, that do not think a lot of him, there is a certain kind of like cruelty to the campaign against him. Where is Hunter? Where is Hunter? Where is Hunter?
It's cruel. Cruel. It's the president's son. It's like Chelsea Clinton back in the 90s, and except instead of a 14-year-old girl, it's a 50-something man who is obviously running his father's grift operation. That was 2023. Significant because Joe Biden was still in the race. Tapper had the obvious mission of needing to help Biden win an election. And there weren't books to sell. Today, however, the election is in the rearview mirror. Biden was forced to drop out. Trump, unfortunately for Tapper, won, and there are books to sell. He was on Katie Couric's podcast along with his co-author Alex Thompson, and he admitted that Hunter Biden was effectively serving as his father's chief of staff for the past few years of his presidency, and that he thought Hunter Biden was a giant sleazebag.
Hunter was driving the decision making for the family in a way that he was almost like a chief of staff of the family.
Does that strike you as pretty bizarre?
It's bizarre because I think he is provably, demonstrably unethical, sleazy, and prone to horrible decisions. I mean,
tell me how you really feel.
Well, I mean, just look at the record. I mean, after his brother died, he cheated on his wife with his brother's widow and then got her addicted to crack. That's just one thing I could say. I mean, I don't have a lot of personal regard for him.
Let's go back to 2023.
I do have to say, whatever you think of Hunter Biden, and there's certainly a lot of people in this town, Democrats and Republicans, that do not think a lot of him, there is a certain kind of like cruelty to the campaign against him. Where is Hunter? Where is Hunter? Where is Hunter?
Cruelty. You see, cruelty. Where is Hunter? He was in the Oval Office. Dropped a baggie of cocaine there, you might recall. That was also in 2023. Nobody wanted to talk about it, though, least of all Jake Tapper, because, again, there was an election to win. Now they can all say how they really feel. Everybody knew Hunter Biden got his brother's widow addicted to crack while he was having an affair with her. Everybody knew this. Everybody knew that he had an illegitimate daughter that Biden only begrudgingly acknowledged, the old man, as his granddaughter. Everybody knew that he was selling paintings solely to big Democrat donors for massive amounts of money in a rather obvious bribery scheme. But nobody wanted to talk about that. It was cruel to talk about that back then. But to sell books, Tapper will literally say anything, even admitting that conservative media got the story exactly right from the get-go, all while he doesn't say this part, but all while he was shaming them, was calling them liars, was trying to shut them up.
Why wasn't this something that was reported about Joe Biden and this cognitive decline? Why wasn't this reported in real time? And obviously people have criticized you in the book have said, why didn't you report it in real time?
So there were people reporting on what they saw. The conservative media was, to their credit, all over this. Now, they didn't have insider information, but they were just making sense of all the clips and all of the weird moments and off-putting moments.
Now, Jake Tapper could have put together all the off-putting moments and the clips. He was calling them cheap fakes. He was saying, we're not going to report on this stuff because it's obviously conservative propaganda. Now, to answer the question, was that from John Dickerson? To answer the question about why this wasn't reported in real time was because back then it would have mattered. It would have been relevant. It would have helped the American people make a decision about the then upcoming 2024 presidential election and whether or not the president of the United States could pass the simple, fundamental baseline test for fitness for office. And that's fitness for office, physical and mental fitness for office. Can Joe Biden actually withstand the physical and mental rigors of a second term? He couldn't. Reporting honestly about it in real time would have served to convince the American people that Biden was unfit for office. Everybody knew that Kamala wasn't ready, but the Democrats couldn't allow for an open primary. So they fixed it so that Biden would drop out after the primaries. Why do you think it was Biden who challenged Trump to a debate on June 27th? We have never had a debate that early in a general election cycle. Never. Not even close. It was the earliest by several months. Why? Because there were forces within that Biden White House, there were forces within the Democratic Party, and there were forces within the national news media all colluding together saying, look, we aren't going to be able to hide this guy's decline any further. We're going to give him a final exam. I believe I called it at the time Biden's final oral exam. If he passed it, he's allowed to run. If he doesn't, he's not. He failed miserably. And like that, members of the media, starting with Van Jones on CNN, after the debate aired, I remember Tapper was one of the moderators of that debate. Even as he's seeing in real time, Biden said during that debate, we finally beat Medicare. That was an actual quote. Now, could he not see the video clip and the weird moment there happening right in front of him in real time? But immediately after the debate was over, it was Van Jones who finally, he sounded like he had to put down a sick dog, saying, look, I love Joe Biden, but it's a shame. It's a shame. It was like, are you going to take Joe behind the shed, Van? Should we not leave Joe alone in your care? I'm a little nervous here. But it wasn't until that moment, until it was politically expedient for Democrats. Then it took 3 weeks and they all changed. They all flipped on a dime, including Tapper. Well, now that it would benefit, now that it would serve to stop Trump from winning another term, now we can finally report the truth. And there were 3 glorious weeks in the summer, 3 wonderful weeks where the media was being honest with you about the president of the United States' mental capacity. It was remarkable. When the press was honest about a president, a Democrat, he lasted exactly 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Could you imagine if the press was honest about Democrats at every level? How long do you suppose Tammy Baldwin would last? Mark Pocan and some of the vile crap that he posts on X every single day. It's an angry man, by the way. It's just an angry man. I've got like 5 different fat jokes, but you know what? I don't think I'm going to make any of them right now because I want to keep the focus on Jake Tapper and the media. How long do you suppose Tony Evers would last here in Wisconsin? How with it is Evers, Mr. Pickleball, who calls it a day at about 2:30 p.m. every single day? I joked at the outset of his governorship about the real governor being his chief of staff, Maggie Gao. And anyone want to check in on that one? Nah? Okay. How about how many different members of the mayor of Milwaukee's family, Cavalier Johnson, can commit crimes anyone want to look into whether or not the brother who shot somebody and was a fugitive for some time while Johnson was running for mayor and was found hiding out at their mom's house? Anyone want to test the mayor's claim that he had no idea where his brother was at their mom's house? Really? You didn't talk to mom for 6 weeks, 8 weeks that he was hiding out there, Chevy? Actual media scrutiny would lead to the end of pretty much every Democrat politician, just as assuredly as it ended Biden's political career. But the question remains, why did Biden think, and why did, more importantly, Dr. Jill Biden think he would be able to run and win in his diminished mental state? This would be something of a bombshell. Tapper said today that Biden and his inner circle, led by his most trusted advisor, Mike Donilon, after Ron Klain left the White House, it was Mike Donilon who was hired to the tune of $4.5 million in 2024 to help run Biden's reelection. $4.5 million this guy got. Nice work if you can get it. All you got to do is occasionally mop up Joe's drool, and you get $4.5 million. Tapper and Thompson admitted today that the reason that Biden ran again is he was convinced Trump was going to be in prison.
Do you think this decision is made if Donald Trump isn't the opponent looming? Do you think there was a convincing of he has to beat Donald Trump and therefore we have to position him this way?
You know, they will say that the threat of Donald Trump made it so he didn't really have a choice. And that being said, you know, just given what we've seen of their actions and how they acted after the debate, I think he would have run anyway. I mean, I think,
he spent most of 2023, him and Donilon, President Biden and Mike Donilon spent most of 2023 convinced that Donald Trump was going to jail.
Wow. So the guy who said in 2022 that he thought Trump engaged in criminal conduct and convened a special counsel, deputized Merrick Garland to his attorney general to look into anything and everything Trump did. And then the number 3 official at the Justice Department suddenly resigns a couple of weeks later to resurrect the long dormant New York City case against Trump. You're telling me that Biden's entire strategy was, I will coast to re-election because Trump is going to be in prison. That seems kind of newsy. That was on NPR's All Things Considered, by the way. Seems a little odd nobody else is picking up on that, doesn't it? That Biden's strategy was, well, Trump's going to be in jail. What do we care? We can do whatever we want. Biden can soil himself on Fifth Avenue, and he wouldn't lose any support, to borrow a famous scenario. If Trump's in prison, the American people aren't going to elect inmate number 47 to be president number 47. That is an admission that sort of proves conservative media wasn't just right about Hunter Biden and Joe's decline. We were also right about what the real purpose of the lawfare against Trump was. It had nothing to do with criminality. It had everything to do with propping up a senile, incompetent man who could not serve as president of the United States and get him reelected, where he would eventually either resign or, heaven forbid, die in office. And they would get the first black female president, Kamala Harris, someone they knew had no possible chance of winning an election on her own. Coming up, we head back to a competent president. Daily Trump date up next on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
From the Lynch Buick GMC of West Bend Total Traffic Center.
Northbound 43 slowing all the way from the Marquette up to Keefe with ongoing construction. A half hour to Brown Deer. Southbound from Brown Deer taking 35 minutes. You're going to be heavy from Keefe back down to the Marquette and on to 4394 to the KK River. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Don't postpone better sleep. Shop Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale now. Upgrade to a premium bed from a curated selection and take your rest to the next level. Don't miss out. Visit Mattress Firm today. Get matched. Sleep at night.
I can see the breath inside my house. This is how horror movies start.
First, the cold seeps in. Next thing you know, you're spooning your cat for warmth.
I tried it. He bit me.
Jason, come on, man. You need a new furnace. Don't you know that Capital is giving away the furnace when you get a new AC?
Giving as in free?
Yeah, but call Capital before this turns into the horror version of Frozen. Call Capital today and get a free furnace with a new AC.
Old-fashioned service, you can't go wrong. Call CapitalCares.com.
Monica, we've got to hand it to you.
You and the design team have outdone yourselves.
Are you talking about the One Collection?
Those rings say you are the one.
And they say it symbolically.
Describe the symbols.
Every ring in the One Collection should be presented with a special ritual.
What would that ritual be?
You pick up her left hand and you place a kiss on her ring finger.
Rick, you never told me about that part.
Then you show her the tiny red diamond, flush mounted inside the ring, that will forever be in contact with her finger.
Why is it red?
Because that's when the giver says to the one, wherever you go, my heart goes with you.
I give you this kiss. I give you my heart.
The red diamond is a secret symbol of that sacred moment.
The center diamond on the outside of the ring is for the whole world to see.
But the tiny red created diamond inside the ring is only for the two of them.
The One Collection of engagement rings is available exclusively at Kessler's.
To find the Kesslers nearest you,
visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff Kelm. Join Dan Small and me for Outdoors Radio Saturday mornings at 6 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Brought to you by Hupy & Abraham, Wisconsin's largest personal injury law firm. 800-800-5678 or HUPY.com.
Let Tri-County Contracting take care of the outside of your home so you don't have to. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows from Tri-County Contracting. Call us at 262-679-6100 or visit us online at tricountycontractingwi.com.
When Flawless Flooring installs luxury vinyl plank, hardwood, modern laminate, or carpeting, I personally guarantee your satisfaction with every step from shopping through installation. I'm Flawless Flooring's president, Dave Brownsdorf, and I approve this message. Sensory underload, Flawless Flooring, flawlessflooringllc.com.
Start summer with Memorial Day Brewers action and Dollar Hot Dog Day. Keep the long weekend going as the Crew battles the Red Sox for 3 games May 26th through the 28th. Get your seats now at Brewers.com.
We use powerful truck-mounted carpet cleaning units designed to remove even the toughest dirt, and certified cleaning technicians who understand the definition of clean.
Edelman Carpet Furniture and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman.
This message is for anyone hit by the recent severe weather in the area. Right now, there are dozens of out-of-town roofing companies descending on Milwaukee and the surrounding counties looking to make a fast buck. These storm chasers use high-pressure fear tactics to get you to sign a contract on the spot. As soon as the storm business dries up, they're on to the next town and nowhere to be found if you need warranty work done on your roof. Stick with a local roofer. Call Semper Fi Roofing for a fast, free 21-point inspection and estimate, world-class customer service, and skilled installation. They work with all insurance companies, and best of all, Semper Fi offers a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. If anything, and I mean anything, goes wrong with that roof due to workmanship or materials, Semper Fi will fix it for free. The roof on your home is too important to take a chance. Work with a local, trusted roofer. Call Semper Fi Roofing today, 262-600-2910, or online at semperfiroofing.com.
Catering to all who appreciate quality installation, a great value, and the finest windows and doors. Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. Find us at lisbonstorm.com.
Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules. All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
You are not going to want to go anywhere, as we have exclusive new details that you are not going to hear anywhere else on the murder-suicide inside a dorm at UW Platville on Monday. We were the first to tell you that this was, in fact, a murder-suicide, as for whatever reason, the UW Platteville leadership, as well as the campus police department, would not go with that information. It turns out that a 22-year-old young woman who had recently graduated shot and killed her RA, who was actually a step above the RA. She was the head of all of the RAs at this dormitory, Wilgus Hall. And the reason for the shooting has got a number of parents very upset at university administration. We will get into the exclusive details that will probably come out, if I had to guess, in a day or two, but as usual, you will hear them first here. As always, though, at about 4:30, we try to bring you up to speed live with whatever happened today at the Trump White House, because we recognize that on your way home from work, you want to know about all of the stuff that went on in Washington, D.C., all of the good deeds that the president did, everything that is going on in Trump world before it can be spun by a hostile press. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the Daily Trump Date.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
Well, a whole lot of winning for the Trump administration.
We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
We spent much of the 3 o'clock hour covering the big goings-on in the Oval Office today as President Trump welcomed Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, and confronted him about what President Trump is calling a genocide, the terrorism, brutal attacks on, and seizures of land from white farmers in the country.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
No, nobody can.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is
nothing happens.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now been utilized.
The farmers are not black.
I
don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off. They died violently.
President Trump, in fact, did show a video. He ordered the lights dimmed and put on about a 5-minute video that didn't just show the crosses, the memorial site, and thousands of family members of slaughtered white farmers showing up for a memorial service, but also featured a long montage of former leaders of South Africa, members even of Ramaphosa's party, calling for the slaughter of white South Africans.
Turn the lights down. Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one.
Now, the South African president actually brought a number of golfers, of all people, including Ernie Els and Retief Goosen, to try to make the case that white farmers are not being killed on his watch. But then one of those golfers, the great Retief Goosen, said, yeah, my dad's a white farmer, and his white farmer buddies absolutely have been brutally killed.
I grew up in an area in South Africa that is a farmland area, Polokwane, and there is some issues up there. Obviously, my dad was a property developer as well as a part-time farmer. And yeah, some of these buddy farmers got killed. The farm is still going. My brothers run it, but it's a constant battle with farms they're trying to burn the farms down to chase you away. So it is a concern to try and make a living as a farmer. And at the end, without farmers, there's no food on the plate.
South Africa's agriculture minister also confirmed that, yes, violence against farmers is a big, big deal in South Africa. Predictably, our media is trying to cover up that fact. Now, after South Africa's president and his delegation left, the president of the United States welcomed the NCAA basketball champion Florida Gators to the White House. He then immediately took off for a meeting with the House Freedom Caucus to get them on board with his One Big Beautiful Bill. There have been a number of holdouts over just how much that bill spends, and the goal of the meeting was to try to hammer out those details, particularly regarding SALT deductions and spending on some issues that Freedom Caucus members, including Thomas Massey, said of Kentucky that they did not want. The goal was to get the bill to the floor today. Not looking like that is going to happen, possibly by the end of this week before Congress takes off for the Memorial Day holiday. Now, as America does, GasBuddy.com projects that prices at the pump are going to hit their lowest level in more than 2 decades on Memorial Day weekend. The lowest level in terms of actual price since 2021, but adjusted for inflation, the cost of gas over this coming weekend would be the lowest since 2003. The price is expected to remain low over the summer, potentially dipping below the $3 a gallon mark. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been what happened at Trump's White House today in your Daily Trump Date.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Westbound 94 is 40 minutes from the Marquette over to Moreland. Got a crash off to the right at 35th. 894 westbound, you got an accident at 92nd on the left. It's a 10-minute trip from the Mitchell to the Hale. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Don't postpone better sleep. Shop Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale now. Upgrade to a premium bed from a curated selection and take your rest to the next level. Don't miss out. Visit Mattress Firm today. Get matched. Sleep at night.
The latest news.
And let's get right to it. This is just breaking right now, a major development.
Exclusive investigations.
That has been confirmed by multiple sources. It is a story you will hear only right here.
In-depth analysis.
I did some digging on this and found the truth.
And plenty of fun.
That it's time now for the strangest stories of the past week.
The Dan O'Donnell Show. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Five Corners Auto Group is celebrating 85 years of keeping America rolling, thanks to manpower, woman power, and horsepower. From Ram trucks to Zuzu trucks, from Dodge Chrysler Jeep to flatbeds, dump bodies, fire trucks, and motorhomes. If it has wheels, Five Corners Auto Group is on call. Yes, even trucks needing DOT inspections. Come see why people trust our certified and successful sales, service, and body shop team. Your one-stop destination for reliable vehicles and top-tier service. Five Corners, Highway 60, Cedarburg.
We didn't write the headline. The Wall Street Journal did. The days of set and forget investing just ended for many Americans. Economic uncertainty and global unrest. It's a wake-up call. Standard financial advice is to avoid making rash decisions during market turmoil. But retirement planning isn't a set it and forget it process anymore. That's where Annex Wealth Management comes in. As fee-only fiduciaries, we craft personalized plans that adapt as needed. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Head to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
I'm Ryan Harrison, owner of Ryan Waterproofing. If it seems rain hangs around your home coming down as insidiously delicate droplets, or in buckets, and if neither, rain tends to lurk suspiciously in the atmosphere around your house, you probably have a wet, mildewy, leaky basement with cracked walls. No basement wall or foundation repair is too big or small for Ryan Waterproofing. We won't be the most expensive. The larger the job, the more you'll save with Ryan. We've eliminated bowed walls, cracks, spalling, seepage, and flooding in Coast Guard stations, museums, and countless Wisconsin homes. Ryan's waterproofing experts show up on time and do exactly what we say we're going to do, eliminating your water problems, restoring your home, even ending your obsession with rain. Imagine looking out the window for rainbows rather than obsessing about your basement walls and floors next time, every time it rains. Free estimates, affordable financing. Because praying for drought is overrated. Ryan Waterproofing, call Ryan.com. That's call RION.com.
Family Dentistry, Cosmetic Whitening, Ross Dental Straight Smiles, and Full Sedation Dentistry for anxious patients needing substantial restoration. Our mission? Your comfort, health, and confidence.
Smile like you just don't care.
Because you don't. RossDentalWI.com.
Attorney Tom Grieve here for Divergent Family Law. You really believed your paths were one and the same until death do you part. Your best interest was their best interest. Increasingly, it's clear you are on divergent paths, having grown apart in interests, goals, even morality. Having made it through the latest battery of holidays, you're now resolved to make your own way. Divergent Family Law is experienced attorneys who will make sure your path is not the lesser of two traversed as you go separate ways. Wisconsin statutes have no provisions for love, hate, or anger. Divorce is the disassembly of a legal contract, the division of assets, and the legal assignment of responsibility for property that cannot be physically divided. No judge or parent can split children in two, physically or emotionally. Family law is experiential. With Divergent Family Law, the outcome is predictable. Our attorneys can tell you up front with considerable accuracy the details of your divorce decree because we know Wisconsin family law. We know the adjudicators and we know your rights. Divergent Family Law, separate and equal or better. DivergentFamilyLaw.com.
Have you heard a lot of buzz about tariffs?
No.
Really?
What's a tariff?
It's a tax on imported goods.
Well, I've never heard of tariff. Penny Mustard's furniture is made in the USA.
True.
In fact, most of it is built by local craftsmen and women right here in the Midwest.
And locally sourced furniture will never have a tariff on it.
Can we talk about this later? I'm tired of hearing about these tariffs.
So I guess you can say that all this talk about tariffs is taxing.
PennyMustard.com.
Dan O'Donnell here with my friend Danielle from Bayview Shade and Blind. Danielle, I love the work you guys did at our new home. And more importantly, my wife loves it too.
Appreciate that, Dan. We work with folks who really value having a trusted guide to walk them through the whole process, from choosing the right window treatments to professional installation. That's how we do it at Bayview Shade.
And you know what, Daniel? It really shows. Go to BayviewShade.com. They're sharing a little sunshine from their family to yours for 99 years.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
111 East Kilbourne, Milwaukee. CordellCordell.com.
Just into us, video of the Judge Hannah Dugan incident has been released as part of an open records request. This is part of the evidence against her in her ongoing federal case. We broke the story that Judge Dugan actually allowed an illegal immigrant criminal to escape ICE agents, or at least to try to escape ICE agents, through her jury room's doors. The guy didn't get very far, fortunately, as an agent actually followed him and was able to arrest him following a brief chase outside of the courthouse. This just down a couple of minutes ago. I'm going to take some time and try to maybe splice it up a little bit and put some of it out on social media so you can see exactly what happened. What I am looking at right now is, oh boy, this is The kids have a saying. It's called getting caught in 4K. And it means exactly what it sounds like. The video footage or the evidence against you is so crystal clear that you can't possibly talk your way out of whatever trouble it is you're in. You are caught in 4K. She is quite literally caught in 4K. You can see her. The video is staggeringly clear. They have got a real good camera system at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. You can actually see her walk up to the agent. You can see her. The agent is dressed in a gray sweatshirt and blue jeans. And then you can see Eduardo Flores Ruiz actually walking out of the jury room door along with his female attorney. He's wearing all black, and so is she. Another ICE agent, though, who is stationed in the hallway, happens to see this, and he follows them onto the elevator. He then follows them out the door. It's a rainy day. He tries to take off running, and he is pulled about half a block later. This is about as damning as it gets, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what else to say. She was caught in 4K. You know what the unfortunate thing about this is? Unfortunately, Lynn Edelman has her case. Lefty Lynn Edelman, the only man old to call Joe Biden's sonny boy, is almost certainly going to let her off. He's going to ignore the evidence. He is going to ignore federal law. He's going to dismiss the case because he can't stand the Trump administration. That is a sad commentary on the federal judiciary. You know, I am really, you know who I'm really angry at? President James Madison for first appointing Lynn Edelman to the federal bench. I'm telling you, he is living proof that we cannot have lifetime appointments anymore for judges. If we make Grandpa prove that he is still able to drive a car, we should probably make Grandpa Lynn prove that he's still with it enough to serve on the federal bench. Folks, I would be shocked. I would be absolutely shocked if Edelman allows this case to go to trial. He's going to dismiss. I don't know if he can, even he would probably be hard-pressed to deny it on the grounds of judicial immunity that Dugan tried to claim. That, well, I had to let this illegal immigrant criminal escape because I had to maintain control of my courtroom and had to, therefore, ignore a federal warrant. I'm telling you, folks, that video is staggeringly crystal clear. Channel 12 is the first one to put it up. I suspect it went out to everybody who made that open records request for it. Why didn't I make that open? Oh, you know why? Because I was gone. I was in Las Vegas when she was arrested on a guy's weekend, and then I immediately had to go to the White House after that and came back. I was like, why didn't I make the open records request? And then, oh yeah, because I was so distracted with that other stuff. But kudos to Channel 12. We'll try to post some of that video, obviously giving them credit for being the first ones to get that up. I would encourage you to, if you can't wait for me to work during the commercial break to get that video up, head to their websites right at the top, WISN.com, not News Talk 1130, WISN 12. They have got Hannah Dugan getting caught in 4K. Your unsung hero of the day coming up next, and then you're not going to want to miss this exclusive new details about that horrible murder-suicide in Platville. From
From the Lynch GM Superstore in Burlington Total Traffic Center.
Stop and go in pockets westbound on 94 from 16th over to Highway 100. From the Marquette to Moreland, taking 40 minutes. Crash on the right shoulder at 35th Street is not helping. I'm Kevin Henry, and that's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Terminix Batzner. Mosquitoes aren't just a nuisance. They can transmit dangerous diseases too. That's why Batzner Pest Control is proud to offer mosquito extermination services to keep your family and property safe year-round. To schedule your $69 initial mosquito control service, visit Batzner.com today.
I'm Dan Voss from Cut and Go. Ugly and depressing and trees killed off by emerald ash, oak wilt, and Dutch elm disease are dangerous for friends and loved ones, even a potential liability. Slowly rotting, left-standing hardwood trees can weigh tens of thousands of pounds. Even seemingly smaller branches can weigh tens, even hundreds of pounds. With Cut and Go, there is no reason to risk injury or property damage. Live trees in precarious placement for arborists to remove over homes, garages, commercial buildings, luxury landscapes are easily and safely laid on the ground by Cut and Go's NCCER, crane-operated, certified, remote control, automobile-mounted articulating crane grapple saw operator. You can save big money and stock up on firewood by having Cut and Go put your trees on the ground for you to clean up or have a bonfire or split firewood. Or you can take it all with us. A Tons of Trees movement. Cut and Go trees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com. Once again, that's cutandgotrees.com.
I'm Dr. Jennifer Grief at Reset Restore MD IV Ketamine Therapy Centers. IV ketamine is superior to ketamine lozenges. If you suffer with depression, anxiety, or PTSD, listen to real R&R MD patient feedback.
My treatments have greatly reduced and eliminate my chronic back pain.
I've tried many therapies for depression, and this has been the most impactful. The environment is relaxing, and the staff are incredibly kind.
Amazing, life-changing, wonderful. Dr. Jennifer changed my life for the better with ketamine infusions.
R&R MD helped me deal with anxiety and be more calm with hectic things going on. Years of talk therapy can't do what this did in a few sessions.
Intravenous ketamine infusions take about an hour at our Brookfield or Mequon R&R MD locations. Relief can continue for weeks, months, even a lifetime. R&R for Relief, Reset Restore MD, rnrmd.com. That's rnrmd.com.
Restoring your home or business to its natural beauty is our only business. We are Wisconsin's most trusted carpet cleaner for over 75 years.
Hillman Carpet Furniture and Drapery Cleaning.
Seafood lovers, Sendix Lobster Fest is back. One day only, this Saturday, May 24th, cooked or live lobsters are 2 for just $20. North Atlantic cold water lobsters, a pound each, 2 for $20. Don't miss out. Reserve yours now at Sendix.com. Plus, enjoy shrimp or lobster boil meals and Sendix homemade shrimp and lobster roll this weekend. Learn more at Sendix.com. All during Sendix 16th Annual Lobster Fest. Sendix Food Markets, your trusted local grocer.
I gave it a shot. I came in and had the procedure done. To me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
Homeowners across Wisconsin trust Weather Pro Exteriors for the best in roofing, siding, windows, and doors. As a local family-owned and operated business, Weather Pro Exteriors was voted Milwaukee's 2024 Top Choice Award winner. All our installers are professionally certified, and we only use the highest quality materials, which is why Weather Pro Exteriors has achieved Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor status. When it's time to repair or replace your roof, upgrade windows, or replace your siding, call the company Wisconsin has trusted for decades. Call Weather Pro Exteriors today and receive $1,000 off a full roof replacement, plus a $200 Quick Trip gift card. Your home is your biggest investment. Make sure it's protected with top quality roofing, siding, windows, and doors built to last. Visit weatherproexteriors.com and receive $1,000 off a full roof replacement. That's weatherproexteriors.com.
You love her twice as much today as the day you married her, right?
Welcome to Kessler's.
WISN listeners are wise, enlightened, engaged,
and have impeccably good taste. Thank you for making us Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130 WISN.
Coming up after the top of the hour, exclusive new details about the murder-suicide at UW Platville. First, I want to make sure I get to this because it is sort of a sign of the times. Silver Spot Cinema, the upscale movie theater at the corners of Brookfield, is going to close on June 16th. The Corners announced in a news release today the movie theater and center mutually agreed to end the Silver Spots lease. It opened in 2019. It'll be updated as retail space in the second half of the year, spokesman confirmed to the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Gould said the change is reflective of customers' desires, the spokesperson, for brands that are relative to their aspirations and the way they live their lives, adding that the movie industry continues to face headwinds. Only a spokesperson for an upscale mall could say customers have desires for brands that are relative to their aspirations and the way they live their lives. What? It's a fancy way of saying we're putting in a Buffalo Wild Wings, Mr. Gold. No, this is a sign of the times. The movie theater industry has faced significant, not just headwinds, but massive competition from home. You don't think it's a coincidence that Marcus Theaters replaced pretty much every traditional seat? Most movie theater chains have done this with the Barca loungers or whatever they call them, the Dream loungers, I think. My wife and I make it to maybe one movie a year. We consume a decent amount of entertainment. We just don't get out to the movies. The last film I saw in theaters, this is quite the bone of contention between the two of us. I dragged her to see Nosferatu, which is the update of the silent film classic. It's one of the most influential films ever made. It was a German movie it was basically a knockoff of Dracula. It was a silent film from 1921 or something like that. And it starred Lily Rose Depp, who's Johnny Depp's daughter. I thought she was fantastic in it. And a vampire who is an actual, living corpse. He's not a debonair, polite count like Dracula. He's an undead corpse. The movie had a much higher gross out factor than I thought it would. My wife hated it. I still thought it was very well done. Willem Dafoe was in it. It's just very well done. I thought it was very well done. She hated it. We have not been back to the movies since. But also, what really is there for us, if you don't like superhero movies or if you've sort of grown out of them, what goes in wide release into theaters? Big screen comedies are all but dead because in order to make money in Hollywood and in order to make money in the movie industry, your film has to open up big internationally. All of the Seth Rogen, Judd Apatow comedies, Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler no longer makes movies for the most part on the big screen. He's got a massive deal with Netflix. I think he's got a sequel to Happy Gilmore coming out in July. It's going to be released to Netflix because in order to make that movie, you wouldn't be able to make back the budget and the marketing just releasing it in America. And one of the big problems is American films are so dependent upon foreign markets now that comedy, romance, those don't necessarily translate across national and cultural boundaries. The superhero defeating the giant monster that wants to take over the earth, that translates. This is why we're on like the 8th Jurassic Park movie. Everybody understands running away from dinosaurs. Everybody understands Iron Man beating up the bad guy. But unfortunately, while there is a big demand for those movies, you get a lot of people, especially the people that would otherwise go to the Silver Spot Theater. My 17-year-old son and his buddies probably aren't going to Silver Spot. They're going to AMC at Mayfair or something like that. My wife and I would, but what is there for us to watch? Seriously, what movie coming out this summer? Actually, I know what one. 28 Years Later. It's a sequel to one of my favorite horror films of all time. Very, very well done zombie movie of about 25 years ago. Cillian Murphy starred in it. His first big role was called 28 Days Later. Then, of course, they did 28 Weeks Later, and now it's 28 Years Later. And you better believe that I'm going to drag my wife to the sequel. If there's way too much, although she loved 28 Days Later, too. We saw it when we were both in college. But I better hope there's not way too much blood and gore. Otherwise, we're never going to, or at least I'm never going to be allowed to pick the movie again. We'll get to the unsung hero of the day at the end of the next hour when we come back. An update on the UW Platville murder-suicide. You are listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show, conservative thought, not just talk.
Listen to Clay and Buck weekdays 11 to 2 on News Talk 1130 WISN Milwaukee. And make WISN the #1 preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. An investigation has confirmed that both students and adults at a track meet in Waterford earlier this month made racist comments towards student athletes from the city of Milwaukee. The school has issued an apology and said it plans to hold those involved accountable. MPS Superintendent Brenda Caselius.
Just hope this never happens again. Our students don't deserve any kind of racial animus ever in the sporting event or ever anywhere.
Police in Cedarburg are looking for suspects in a bank ATM robbery. It happened yesterday at Port Washington State Bank. And Governor Tony Evers kicked off his annual pothole patrol this week.
First of all, fixing the damn roads is something that if you're Republican, Democrat, neither, and most people are neither, they want to drive on decent roads, and it's also a safety issue.
Early versions of the next two-year state budget include a nearly 3% increase in road funding. Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard playoff hockey tonight. The Admirals are home tonight to play Texas. Their best of 7 series is tied at a game apiece. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Rain continues tonight. Temperatures in the 40s with blustery northerly winds. The bulk of the rain ends by 5 in the morning. Mostly cloudy on Thursday. Just a slight chance for an isolated rain shower with a high of 53. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Wisconsin-grown, healthy, and gorgeous lifelong perennial happiness is available right now.
Buy perennials directly from your grower right here in New Berlin.
Make every normal day abnormally beautiful. Prospect Hill, Bloomsite.com.
I'm Victor Harding, a true trial attorney at Warshevsky Law. You've heard our advertising for years. While it's been effective introducing Warshevsky to injured people in need of maximum judgments and settlements, most of our clients come from personal referral. Referrals from former clients grateful for the settlement or trial judgment Warshevsky won on their behalf. Thus, they're recommending us to friends and family. Referrals from people in the community, including other lawyers and judges who want to make sure their friends and family are taken care of. Still not sure? Ask around. Warshevsky is referred by Wisconsin law enforcement officers who've seen Warshevsky attorneys in action, desperate to make sure friends and family receive just compensation. Insurance adjusters, often our adversaries, refer their family members hurt in accidents. They know the work we do. They all refer Warshevsky because big case or small, we we can help. If someone you love is injured, please let them know, because at the end of their ordeal, their injury is about the money. Warshevsky.com.
The Memorial Day sale is on at your local running store. Get savings store-wide on all your favorite home, farm, and outdoor gear for spring and summer. Check out the lawn and garden department for all your flowers, fertilizer, and weed protection. Save on mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Husqvarna and Milwaukee Power Tools. All things for grilling, fishing, camping, and hunting. And a full line of pet foods from Nutrina, Sunglow, and Harvest Heartland. Great savings in the clothing and footwear department, too. Military, police, fire, and EMTs get an extra 10% off in-store on Memorial Day. Runnings now at 90 locations. Go to runnings.com for a store near you.
I've been boasting for years about the honesty, the integrity, and the unflagging competence of Engine and Transmission Exchange that I and WISN listeners have experienced for many years now. But I'm still struck by how often people say their repair bill was less than they expected. This is one way you know that Vince, Oscar, and the ETE team really are good people. Carrick thought he needed a new starter and says they found the real issue and it was significantly less expensive. They know their stuff. Carl has a 24-year-old Sienna and says he was certain a major repair bill was coming. Nope. ETE had the car for 2 days and it was ready for pickup, with the total cost of repairs and labor being only $150. What a pleasant surprise. And he says Damon, the service manager, was great. They all are. ETE employs an established, experienced group of people who can service any vehicle, any make, any model. They'll accurately diagnose your problem and will always work to save you money while doing the repair right. See enginetrans.com for details. They even have easy drop-off and pickup times and will work around your schedule. Enginetrans.com. It's Engine and Transmission Exchange.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Profound insight, piercing analysis. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
Go Wall Investment Group, now Creative Planning, is a registered investment advisor. Now for your business report from Creative Planning. For informational purposes only, past performance is not indicative of future results.
Good afternoon. I'm certified financial planner John White with your closing business report. The major averages fell today as stocks sold off, pressured by a spike in higher treasury yields. Investors also wait a flare up in U.S.-China tensions over microchip processing and assess retail earnings highlighted by Target Corporation for insight into economic data and the impact of President Trump's tariffs. Elsewhere, shares of Canada soared over 18% after the luxury jacket maker posted a better-than-expected fiscal fourth quarter earnings report. However, the company did say they would not provide an outlook for fiscal year 2026 due to uncertainty tied to consumer spending. On the day, the Dow was down 816 points to close at 41,860. The S&P 500 is down 95 points, and the Nasdaq is down 270 points. For Creative Planning, I'm John White.
Discussion of summer movies. I guess tomorrow, Mission Impossible, the final Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie, opens up. Technically, I think May 23rd, which would be Friday, but it'll open in previews Thursday night. Lilo and Stitch, the live-action remake of really a charming Disney movie. What is it? Ohana means family. Is that from the original with the alien that crash lands and little Lilo adopts him? Featuring one of the best songs in a Disney movie. I absolutely think it's fantastic. It's called Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride. You know they're going to screw it up because they screw up every single live remake. Watch, the little girl they hired to play Lilo is going to say like death to Israel or something like that. Like, who is their Snow White that wouldn't shut her mouth? Just absolutely tanked a $500 million picture. Rachel Zegler. Yeah, Lilo and Stitch. Okay, maybe I'll be tempted to go see that one. My 10-year-old loves the original Lilo and Stitch movie. There's a new Predator movie coming out. Predator Killer of Killers coming out June 6th, but that's coming out on Hulu. Okay, I'm just looking at a summer movie preview. 28 years later, as I said, that's probably the one that my wife and I are going to see. Elio, that's a Pixar movie. I'm a big fan of Pixar, at least old school, non-woke Pixar. I haven't seen the past several Pixar films. F1, Brad Pitt's movie about Formula One, also coming out. There's like a John Wick spin-off movie. How to Train Your Dragon, the live-action remake, is coming out. July, the big one right before the 4th of July holiday, is a new Jurassic World Rebirth. The last 3 Jurassic Park movies have sucked. And I think the original Jurassic Park is probably my favorite movie of all time. I was 11 years old when it came out. So it was like my Star Wars. I mean, I still get goosebumps when I see the scene where they first see the brachiosaur. They say that he did it, that crazy son of a bleep, he did it. And, Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sattler, welcome to Jurassic Park. Goosebumps, chills. Jurassic World, I thought, was fantastic. The last 3 movies have been terrible, but they're still keeping it going because they need these giant films. They're now making another Superman movie. That's getting a whole lot of buzz. Fantastic Four. July 11th, the Superman film comes out. I guess, again, I was a little bit too young. I mean, I saw, I think, 1 or 2 of the Superman sequels, not in theaters, but on VHS. I said the original Superman with Christopher Reeve and Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. Those were great. And I watched, you know what I watched when I was a kid on Nick at Night? Nick at Night, for those who, people always ask me, Dan, how do you know all of these old TV shows? I am a boomer at heart when it comes to a lot of my musical taste. And when it comes to the pop culture that I consumed, I watched all the same TV shows because when I was really young, 7, 8 years old, my parents would only allow us to watch Nick at Night. So I loved Get Smart, Bewitched. It was actually just the 30th anniversary of Elizabeth Montgomery's passing a couple of days ago. She was my first crush, Samantha from Bewitched. But no, I watched the original Superman show, the original Superman movie with George Reeves, who was in a very infamous Hollywood murder. Remember that? He was the victim of that. I was never really into Superman. I don't know. It was always just sort of, so I was more trying to think who were the 90s superheroes. X-Men was really big because of the cartoon. Spider-Man, Captain America and the Avengers. I had a big Marvel book. There's just not enough for people like me. Oh God, they're remaking I Know What You Did Last Summer. Not a whole lot. Oh, they're remaking The Naked Gun. I will probably go see the Naked Gun remake starring Liam Neeson as, oh my gosh, Frank Drebin, as Frank Drebin's son. Obviously, Leslie Nielsen passed away, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, somewhere in there. Frank Drebin. And the trailer is just absolutely hilarious, where they have all of the characters and they're looking at all of the guys who passed away from the original films. And then they've got, is it Michael B. Jordan, I think, is looking at the picture of O.J. Simpson. They're all crying. And he kind of looks at the camera and says, nah. And it cuts as a Lethal or a Naked Gun. It's just very fun. I'll probably go see that one. All right. Enough about movies, enough about summer films. It just, and I'll fully admit, movies are made for my sons. They're made for my daughter. They're made for much younger people than me. But it used to be there were in theaters, you would have a much wider variety of things to consume. Now that's all moved to streaming. I mean, streaming has the home theater and the home viewing experience has gone a long way towards helping to kill the theater experience. I still do enjoy, heaven help me, I still do enjoy watching a film on the big screen with a crowd. It's just, it's cool. And you know what it is? It brings me back to that experience I had when I was 11 years old watching on, I think it was opening day. It was absolutely opening weekend when I saw Jurassic Park in theaters. It was like my little mind was just blown. Like, oh my gosh, they made dinosaurs. I saw that film. I must have seen Jurassic Park in theaters probably 4 times. I made my mom, she would have to drive me back to the old Southtown cinemas to watch it again and again and again, like kids of probably, Eric, your generation were with Star Wars. Maybe a little bit older, but you were probably about 5 years old when Star Wars came out, right? 6. So you were right. That was like your cultural zeitgeist. It was, for me, it was Jurassic Park. All right. 5 o'clock word, Spring Green Cash Contest. That word is check, CHECK, check. You got until 55 past the hour to go to our website, enter the keyword check to enter the contest for this hour. Exclusive new details that we are now able to report via multiple sources on the University of Wisconsin Platville murder-suicide. Kelsey Martin, who was 22 years old and from Beloit, was shot and killed by Haley L. Helms, also 22, of Baraboo. Both of them died in Wilgus Hall, in what I believe to be or near Helms's dorm room. I can report that Helms shot and killed Martin and then turned her gun on herself, as Martin, who was not just an RA, which was originally reported, she was the assistant resident director at Wilgus Hall for the past couple of years. She was the lead supervisor of all of the RAs, the resident assistants. There were like 10 of them, couple per floor. She oversaw all of them. What I can tell you is that Helms was having some sort of mental or emotional breakdown. She was sobbing, inconsolable, very possibly suicidal. Martin, either by an RA or by somebody else, a UW Platteville staffer, she was called to Helms's room to try to talk to Helms. She was a major in psychology, an emphasis on human services, and this was sort of in her wheelhouse. She, however, was not a trained crisis intervention specialist. It could not possibly have been known that Helms was concealing a gun or had somehow obtained a gun and was potentially threatening to use that gun on herself. But I have been contacted by a number of parents at UW Platteville who have expressed dismay and deep concern that a student, a recently graduated student, was sent into that room to deal with somebody instead of, say, law enforcement being called, or someone who is trained specifically to deal with suicidal persons. I'm not necessarily sure whether this is something that can be pinned on UW Platteville, however, because again, when there is a report, and I'm still trying to piece together who it was that called Martin down to that, but it's impossible to know, and I am not aware that anyone else knew that, say, Helms was brandishing a gun, that she was saying, I'm going to shoot myself or something like that, indicating that she might be a danger to other people. This is why you and I don't want to give people bad advice here, because let's just say when someone is suicidal and they have a gun, they are very, very dangerous. And the last thing you want to do, I know you want to sound compassionate, you want to be compassionate. I know most people are at their heart very good, right? They want to go and they want, hey, it's okay, you can talk to me. They are not, they are so far from thinking clearly that they will shoot you and not even think twice about it, because then that gives, oh my gosh, I got to kill myself now. And then boom, that gives them sort of the motivation to do it. The thinking there is the thinking on law enforcement's part, I should say, is that that's exactly what happened. That there was some sort of just utter breakdown. I don't know if this had to do, because finals week was going on, even though they had graduated. I'm not sure if the graduated seniors still have to take finals, if there was some sort of stress about, having to move on, move out, say goodbye to everybody. It was for whatever reason. Any number of things could have triggered this young woman. I don't know. I don't want to speculate on any of that. All I know, and what has been reported to me by multiple sources, is that the two young women knew each other, at least sort of in passing. And what brought Martin into contact with Helms was the fact that she was this RA supervisor. Was it an RA? Was it the RA at Wilgus Hall on Helms's floor who said, oh, okay, something is seriously wrong here. I'm going to call Kelsey. Kelsey's my immediate supervisor. Kelsey came down. There was never, I don't want to say an adult. Because they're all adults, right? But they're students. It's no one from faculty who might be better equipped to handle something like this. So there are a number of parents who have both talked to me and have posted on social media that they're very upset with the school for sending a kid, for sending a student, for sending somebody who wasn't fully trained in dealing with this. Again, this is sort of what RAs are there for. Now, granted, it's been forever and a day since I was in a dorm. And frankly, my old RA could walk up and slap me in the face. I have no memory of what his name is, what he looks like, no clue whatsoever. I think I saw him a grand total of like 3 times. He was very hands-off RA over at the old McCormick Hall at Marquette University. But that's what they're there to do. If there's, say, a dispute between roommates, if there's a physical fight, you go to the RA first. Then I think the structure, the organizational hierarchy of RAs at Wilgus Hall and at UW Platteville would be that if the RA needs backup, to contact Martin, who is sort of the supervisor here. This information has not yet been released. It should, of course, still be considered to be unofficial. But as I understand it, this is what led to the shooting, that it was just a tragic mental health breakdown, and that the homicide, which I am not sure was witnessed by anybody else, and that's why it's been rather difficult to piece this together, that there weren't other witnesses. It's not like the one girl burst into the cafeteria and killed the other girl and then turned the gun on herself, that this happened in a dorm room or in a hallway right near the dorm room, that this was in a private area. And because it's finals, you got people coming and going. Not a lot of people were there. There have been a lot of rumors that have been going around about what happened. And yeah, This is, as far as I know, what happened. It's sad. It's a sad, and I know I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but it's sad. The girl who killed the other, Haley Helms. I feel terrible for her. I mean, in her last, obviously just distraught, out there moment, she committed the most heinous crime there is. And clearly wasn't of sound mind. All right. That's kind of a bummer. Really. Yeah, it does. I hate to. Should we do an uplifting topic next? Should I try to try to pick up the mood a little bit next? All right, I got a couple of things. We'll figure out something to raise the mood, but that's the exclusive details on what's going on, what happened at Platville this
week. From the Lynch Chevrolet of Kenosha Total Traffic Center.
Lousy northbound on 43 from the Marquette up to Keefe. Your southbound delays start at Keefe, continuing down to the Marquette and continue on to 4394 to just before Oklahoma. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Club Car Wash and ClubCarWash.com.
Your car's filthy, but not for long. Club Car Wash is opening soon in Sussex on Executive Drive across from Meyer on Lisbon. Get ready to take advantage of limited time specials with proceeds benefiting Big Brothers Big Sisters. Go to ClubCarWash.com for more.
Join the club. Dan O'Donnell here with my friend Daniel from Bayview Shade and Blind. Daniel, I love the work you guys did at our new home, and more importantly, my wife loves it too.
Appreciate that, Dan. We work with folks who really value having a trusted guide to walk them through the whole process, from choosing the right window treatments to professional installation. That's how we do it at Bayview Shade.
And you know what, Daniel? It really shows. Go to BayviewShade.com. They're sharing a little sunshine from their family to yours for 99 years.
We didn't write the headline. The Wall Street Journal did. The days of set and forget investing just ended for many Americans. Economic uncertainty and global unrest. It's a wake-up call. Standard financial advice is to avoid making rash decisions during market turmoil. But retirement planning isn't a set it and forget it process anymore. That's where Annex Wealth Management comes in. As fee-only fiduciaries, we craft personalized plans that adapt as needed. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Head to AnnexWealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Imagine your home totally organized. At Closets by Design, we specialize in providing affordable, custom-built storage solutions with built-ins and beyond. From walk-in closets to new laundry rooms and pantries, our experienced designers work within your budget to design a solution fit perfectly to your needs. Get 40% off plus an additional 15% with 18-month financing. Visit closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get started. Let's get organized together.
Now's the time. Get rid of that foggy or cracked window or patio door that bugged you all winter. Contact Bob's Glass in Waukesha, bobs-glass.com. Bob's Glass services all of southeastern Wisconsin, and Bob's guys will drive out to your house, do some measurements, and phone you back with an exact, no-obligation quote that won't change. Then they'll fabricate your glass and return to install it at a time that's convenient for you. Bob's also has a great line of glass shower doors and a newly remodeled showroom to give you ideas. See bobs-glass.com, bobs-glass.com.
Attention well pump owners, do you have enough water pressure for your needs? Can you run 2 faucets at once without a problem? If you answered no to either of these questions, talk to an S&K Pump and Plumbing professional about a well pump checkout before you're left high and dry. They feature a full line of well pump equipment. Contact them at 262-784-HELP or SNKPump.com.
When it comes to water, one call does it all. SNK Pump and Plumbing.
If your home needs new roofing, siding, windows, or doors, then call my friends at Weather Pro Exteriors. You see, big remodeling projects like these require a reliable contractor, and homeowners across Wisconsin trust Weather Pro Exteriors as they only use the highest quality building materials and certified professional installers. Call today and receive $1,000 off a full roof replacement plus a $200 Quick Trip gift card. Scheduled today at weatherproexteriors.com.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
Heroes like Austin Reese have paid a high price for our freedom. Austin served 3 deployments to Iraq. He spent 13 years with the Navy Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit and became a military freefall instructor. But in what was thought to be a routine jump, something went terribly wrong. Austin was left paralyzed. Tunnel to Towers built Austin a specially adapted smart home. Help heroes. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference. Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
All right, got to go quick because we do have a guest calling in just a little bit. I promised a feel-good story. Here it is. Would you believe, and this is actually just into us about a half hour ago, would you believe that the very first NIL deal a high school athlete has signed in Milwaukee, or Wisconsin for that matter, is a female lacrosse player? Her name is Darcy Doyle. She is a junior at the University School of Milwaukee. The WIAA, after decidedly less controversy than last year, I actually weighed in on whether or not high school students should be allowed to get NIL deal, name, image, and likeness deals that have, in my opinion, absolutely decimated college sports. If the goal was to promote parity and to allow more schools to compete, it's done the exact opposite. The transfer portal, look, I don't think it's a coincidence. Trump just had the Florida Gators at the White House. They won the national championship. This was just the second time ever this year the Final Four men's basketball were all 4 number 1 seeds. You're going to see that more often. There was far more chalk that made it far in the NCAA tournament. There were far fewer upsets, Cinderella runs and the like, because mid-major schools simply can't compete. NIL deals and the transfer portal have made it so that big schools can simply offer more money to transfer than small schools who could not possibly compete. I said, look, I don't think we should have that in high school sports, which was supposed to be the last bastion of playing for love of the game. Now, look, I do not begrudge young Darcy. She is all conference, all state, and All-American in her freshman and sophomore years. She is currently leading the number 1 ranked lacrosse team in Wisconsin in goals scored, and she has signed a deal with Ido Walney, the founder and managing partner of the Walney Legal Group. Darcy is going to play lacrosse at Northwestern. They are ranked 3rd in the NCAA, and they are currently playing in the NCAA's lacrosse Final Four. They have won 8 national championships, and I don't know why a law firm needs to hire a lacrosse player. Is she going to say, like, you can't say one call, that's all, because Gruber's got the monopoly on that. Did you know that that is a phrase that you can lease? Did you actually know that? Yeah, it is a trademarked thing that lawyers, one in each market, can actually come up with. I dare say nobody has used it to greater effect than David Gruber. That man has turned one call, that's all, into an empire. So what do you think she would say? I got to come up with a lacrosse pun. One stick, that's it. I don't know. Yeah, of all the sports that we know like next to nothing, it seems like an awesome sport. If they had lacrosse in high school and I would totally have played high school lacrosse and probably got my butt royally kicked. All right, Danielle Alvarez from the Republican National Committee is going to talk to us coming up in just a second as the House prepares to debate the one big, beautiful bill. Stay tuned. Dan O'Donnell Show's coming right back.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Stopping and going in pockets, 894 southbound from the Zoo down to the Hale Interchange and eastbound to 60th, westbound between 27th and 92nd from an earlier accident. Weather is not helping. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by First Choice Heating and Cooling.
This energy bill can't be right.
Don't let old systems drain your budget. First Choice Heating offers 5 years of 0% payment options on new installation. Select systems only. Visit firstchoiceheating.com today.
Spring means that green is busting out everywhere, including your wallet. If you play the nationwide Spring Green Cash Contest on Newstalk 1130 WISN 9 times each weekday, listen for the keyword, enter it at newstalk1130.com, and you might snag the hourly prize of $1,000.
The Spring Green Cash Contest is presented by ARR Recycling. Recycling pays. Bring your copper, brass, lead, steel, or aluminum to their West Dallas or Waukesha locations and get cash. ARR Recycling since 1938.
I'm Total Health's Jay Johnson. The Falls and New Berlin. Additives, chemicals, and toxins in your diet can miswire the way your genes express themselves. Food is critical for health. Increased energy, better sleep, reversing chronic disease. A healthier, happier, pain-free you is simple. Schedule your free Total Health consult. Holistic health coaches will guide you to a healthier, happier, truly you. Seed oils, the #1 source of calories in American diets, were developed as fuel in industrial lubricants. Seed oils cause dozens of chronic illnesses. Big Healthcare solution to nutritional-related illness is their same solution to all health-related problems. Drugs that also alter the way your genes express themselves, leaving root causes, making you increasingly sick over time. What they never tell is eliminate seed oils from your diet, and cutting back on sugar will immediately improve your health. It's true. Total Health finds root causes of sickness, including nutritional deficiencies, then helps you, the whole complete you, achieve wellness. It's not theory. Relativity equals expertise plus execution. TotalHealthInc.com. That's TotalHealthInc.com.
People should be judged for the content of their character, not the straightness of their teeth.
I'm Mila. The gracious, caring staff at Ross Dental make straight teeth convenient.
Bo, Mila's big brother here. High school social pressure can make students want to be invisible. Ross Dental straight teeth are confidence building.
With Ross Dental straight teeth, you and your children will smile like you just don't care because you don't.
Dr. Ross did imaging and ordered virtually invisible plastic trays that fit over our teeth, shifting them ever so slightly.
Every 5 days or so, we start new trays that shift teeth a little more.
Unlike conventional braces, we can take the trays off to eat and brush our teeth, and they cost less.
A bonus for me is clicking in my jaw stopped.
Dr. Ross is a great dentist, and Dad says Ross Dental is the best deal.
Family dentistry, cosmetic whitening, Ross Dental straight smiles, and full sedation dentistry. For anxious patients needing substantial restoration. Our mission, your comfort, health, and confidence. Smile like you just don't care, because you don't. RossDentalWI.com.
Be sure to listen to the NX Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. NX provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Warshawski trial attorney Frank Crivello here. Folks, I'm Victor Harding. Frank is selected Best Lawyers 2024 Complex Litigation Lawyer of the Year.
More impressive is Victor Harding named Product Liability Attorney of the Year again for 2024.
It may sound boastful to mention these prestigious awards.
It's not boastful considering if you or someone you love is injured, you need to know 2 attorneys from the same personal injury firm being chosen by other lawyers and judges for these caliber of awards is very rare.
Heaven forbid you ever need an injury claim made on your behalf. If you do, the quality of your attorney and law firm will have a greater impact on the outcome than even the facts of your case.
Former clients, other lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers, and even insurance adjusters,
often our adversaries,
refer their family and friends to Warshawski because they know Warshawski will achieve maximum compensation.
Injured? It is about the money.
Warshawski.com.
That's Warshawski.com.
This message is for anyone hit by the recent severe weather in the area. Right now, there are dozens of out-of-town roofing companies descending on Milwaukee and the surrounding counties looking to make a fast buck. These storm chasers use high-pressure fear tactics to get you to sign a contract on the spot. As soon as the storm business dries up, they're on to the next town and nowhere to be found if you need warranty work done on your roof. Stick with a local roofer. Call Semper Fi Roofing for a fast, free 21-point inspection and estimate, world-class customer service, and skilled installation. They work with all insurance companies, and best of all, Semper Fi offers a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install. If anything, and I mean anything, goes wrong with that roof due to workmanship or materials, Semper Fi will fix it for free. The roof on your home is too important to take a chance. Work with a local, trusted roofer. Call Semper Fi Roofing today, 262-600-2910, or online at semperfiroofing.com.
I lived on a commercial salmon fishing boat in Alaska, and I genuinely think that was the first time I've ever felt myself kind of like slipping mentally. I think Alaska does weird things to people.
If you're interested in hearing anonymous callers like this tell stories from their lives, check out my podcast, Therapy Gecko. You can listen to Therapy Gecko on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow Therapy Gecko and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
Conservative thought, not just talk. This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
No, your ears are not deceiving you. It's not quite time for forgotten history. It is Wednesday, though. Normally, we would be playing America's favorite game show, Guess What's Racist? But today, we have a special guest joining us now to talk about the One Big Beautiful Bill from the Republican National Committee. Danielle Alvarez is live on the phone. Danielle, great to talk to you.
It's great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
So what is the holdup here? Why have we not gotten a vote on the One Big Beautiful Bill in the House yet?
Well, it's currently with the Rules Committee. My understanding is that Speaker Johnson was able to make deals with different Republican members who wanted an inch here, an inch there. And listen, ultimately, this is a great and a transparent process as we are working to secure and make permanent President Trump's tax cuts. The things that I know that will certainly be in the bill is no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, and we are going to make President Trump's border security permanent. It's going to be a big win for the American people at the end of the day when this bill makes it to the desk and President Trump signs it into law.
Our own Senator Ron Johnson has expressed his skepticism about the bill. He thinks that it just spends too much. How do you respond to that?
Again, I think that that's part of what makes Republicans having majorities in the House, in the Senate, and having control of the White House. That's what is so great about this process, that everyone gets to come to the table. No longer are we in President Joe Biden's failed administration. No longer are we under failed Democrat control where everything happened behind closed doors, where we weren't sure what was in legislation. We have the opportunity for Republicans to come together and fight for every inch on this bill, make sure that it works for every American, every one of their constituents from all over the country, all walks of life. It's happening in front of the American people. And at the end of the day, I know that Republicans will be able to pass one big, beautiful bill, because the alternative is the largest tax increase in American history. If we don't make permanent President Trump's tax cuts, we will be going against what we promised Americans on the campaign trail.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. And the thing that is fantastic is that we are having this debate in the open. And that's actually something that I didn't think about, Danielle. I'll be totally honest with you. You kind of caught me. I was like, you're right. The last 4 years, everything was just sort of done in secret. That we're kind of surprised when you get, remember we had that dust up today with the president of South Africa in the Oval Office. And a couple of months ago, we saw the argument between President Trump and President Zelensky of Ukraine. And people were just so unaccustomed to seeing that. And what I was saying is, look, this sort of stuff happens all the time. You just never get to see it. And now we do have open, frank discussions about what is in this bill, what will get refined by the Senate, ultimately what does come out of it. What a change from the last administration, where we didn't even know if the president was alive.
That's exactly right. And it's a foundation, I think, of Republican politics and conservative politics to be able to have these conversations out in the open, to make sure that we get and are able to put what is best for the most people, for how can we help everyone. And, I can't express, I was having coffee with my husband the other morning when, all the discussions about President Biden came out, and I just felt so enraged. Because this is the previous administration, and Joe Biden ran a campaign in 2020 where they just kept him in the basement the whole time. He had 4 years in office where he continued to hide in the basement. And what a stark contrast. President Trump, who was out there gabbling on the tarmac, talking to reporters on Air Force One, opening the Oval Office to report. I mean, this is such a transparent president. And I think that the American people are just so grateful. Look, it's not always going to be what we expect. The issues that this administration is dealing with are the most important issues of our lifetime. This president is not willing to kick the can down the road on many issues, whether it's tariffs, the economy, the border, these incredible peace deals and peace negotiations, hostage negotiations that his administration is involved in. And we are seeing it happen before our eyes. And what a masterclass from President Trump in deal making.
She is Danielle Alvarez with the Republican National Committee. And Danielle, do you think Democrats are going to try to filibuster this bill? They've been remarkably tight-lipped on it.
The reality is that Democrats are going to do whatever they can to try to tank President Trump's priorities. It's been an absolute embarrassment for them from day one. They have no idea how to lead. They have no leader. I mean, right now we're seeing in polling that Democrats are confused whether it's AOC or Bernie Sanders. And, they have risen as leaders of their party. What an absolute disaster and embarrassment for the Democrat Party, who all they can do is just oppose President Trump. And it is such a failure for their party. I don't believe it represents Democrats as a whole, as a party. It's why they are losing so terribly, because President Trump is fighting on issues that the majority, the supermajority, the 80%, the 90% of voters really care about. For example, in a new poll, we know that more than 8 out of 10 voters say that they support extending President Trump's tax cuts. And this includes the 80+% of independents, and by the way, nearly 75% of Democrats. So Democrats' agenda to oppose is a failure. And good governance is how Republicans will win in the midterms.
Well, I've got you, Danielle. I kind of want to pick your brain about what's been going on over the past couple of days with former President Joe Biden, the obvious cover-up from the Democrat Party, and in obvious collusion with the media on his declining mental health, and then the surprise announcement that he's got advanced prostate cancer, something that could only happen, I think, pretty clearly with years of knowledge that he does have prostate cancer by doctors. Yet another fact that seems pretty clearly covered up by the Biden White House. Just your take on the entire fiasco.
First of all, I just have to say that my heart goes out to the Biden family, and I am praying for them every day because I have a parent who's dealing with cancer, and it is not an easy road. And so I pray that God blesses them and that God is with him along this journey. But as I said earlier, it enrages me. I spent the last over a year of my life fighting for President Trump, helping lead the communications efforts on his campaign. And as far as the corporate media goes, it makes me really angry because I would fight with reporters who would tell me, Danielle, I can't believe that Republicans are going to do a drive-by diagnosis of Joe Biden. Cheap fix was something that I fought tooth and nail when reporters would tell me, this White House is saying that you guys are manipulating. It's a word that will never leave my mind. You're manipulating video. We are not manipulating video. We are showing you plainly what you can see, what you can hear, and the way that Joe Biden was deteriorating at that time. And so I'm appalled. I mean, this was either, collusion by the corporate media, or they're just really damn bad at their job. And neither is acceptable, and the American people deserve better.
She is Danielle Alvarez with the Republican National Committee, my guest here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Danielle, really do appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, conservative thought, not just talk. We will be right back at it in just a second. Stay tuned.
From the place you want to go, Lynch McGuanago Traffic Center.
Northbound on the Rock Freeway, right near the Hale interchange. You got a right lane blocked with an accident. 94 eastbound, Moreland to the Marquette, taking you 20 minutes. Heaviest between 92nd and 27th. Westbound at 18, jammed from 13th to Mitchell Boulevard. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Argo Glass and Windows.
No need to replace windows when you can repair them. Argo Glass and Windows, always offering free estimates using high-quality materials with long-term warranties. So there's no need to replace windows when you can repair them. Visit ArgoWindowRepair.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you in Waukesha, Milwaukee, Muskego, Brookfield, Heartland, Cedarburg, and their Waukesha Fleet and Specialty location. If you have a business with a multi-vehicle fleet, Mander is the place to go because their team understands you can't have a vehicle out of service for a while, so they work quickly and efficiently to get you back on the road and serving your customers as fast as possible through expedited fleet repairs. Mander has been serving their customers and their community for well over 20 years, and they know that the key is expert workmanship and fast turnaround times combined with the sort of customer service that you'll only find at a family-owned local business like Mander. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com and find out for yourself why Mander truly is your best decision after a collision.
Grab your shades, your flip-flops, and your free iHeartRadio app for the start of summer 2025. No matter where you go this summer, your favorite radio station, the music you love, and the best podcasts in the world will be along for the adventure. Make sure you have the free iHeartRadio app in your phone today.
I'm Dave Brownsdorf, president of Flawless Flooring. It's true, there's nothing quite like the scent of freshly steam-cleaned, worn carpet other than a wet dog or cat's litter box. However, Flawless's customer satisfaction-driven, unprecedented growth pinched the Milwaukee metro flooring industry to the point major carpet companies are no more. We've added quality carpeting lines, becoming your true one-stop flooring shop. Flawless Flooring's New Berlin and Delafield showrooms feature virtually unheard of in the flooring industry upfront accurate pricing, including installation on every display. Know how much carpet, LVP, or modern laminate flooring you need? You can calculate exact pricing as you shop. Want to expand your existing hardwood flooring? Flawless's employee-only craftsmen strip existing flooring, install new hardwood, then finish old and new together for a perfect, looks all original floor. Lock in purchasing power of today's dollars for money you'll earn up to 21 months from now with Flawless's no money down, zero interest financing. Sensory underload, Flawless Flooring, flawlessflooringllc.com. That's flawlessflooringllc.com.
Hi, I'm Willa Voss. I'm 8 years old. Mom and Dad own Cut and Go Tree Service. Yes, they did name me after a tree. Our family loves this country and the freedom it provides. Every morning, I look forward to starting the school day with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please say it along with me, even if you just say it in your mind. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. American patriots will enjoy a 5% discount for flying the American flag and mentioning this commercial when the cut-and-go remote control, automobile-mounted, articulated crane, grapple saw operators are putting your dead trees on the ground or removing large branches that grew over something important. An all-American Tons of Trees movement. cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGOTREES.com.
We are leaders in joint replacement at the Orthopedic Surgery Center in Pewaukee. With advanced technology and same-day surgery, we can provide specialized care to get you back on your feet faster. OAW's orthopedic surgeons perform a variety of outpatient procedures, such as total joint replacement, spine surgery, arthroscopic procedures, and fracture care. Our team uses the latest techniques to reduce pain and recovery time, whether it's a knee, hip, or shoulder. Total joint replacement. There is a difference. Visit orthowisconsin.com.
Mental health struggles can feel isolating, but none of us are alone. The Child Mind Institute's campaign Dare to Share focuses on one of the most powerful ways to improve mental health for ourselves and our children, talking openly about challenges and what has helped us overcome them. Dare to share your story and join teens, caregivers, celebrities, and others who are offering words of support to those who may be battling mental health issues. Visit childmind.org today and dare to share.
Smart speakers get a whole lot smarter when they're playing News Talk 1130 WISN. Just ask Alexa or Siri to play WISN Radio and bask in the glow of insight and enlightenment.
Brewers tie up the game in the ninth inning against the Baltimore Orioles today, but go on to lose in 11, 8-4. They do win that series. The Orioles snapped an 8-game losing streak, and the Brewers have been struggling as of late. They have lost the last 3 series that they played. Last time they won a 3-game series was all the way back in their homestand as it wrapped up their last homestand, as they took 2 of 3 from the Houston Astros. They lose series to the Tampa Bay Rays, Cleveland, Minnesota, and finally get back to winning against the Orioles. There are some real problems with this team's offense. Jackson Chourio he's struggling. The kid is clearly going to be a star. He got off to a real hot start in March and April. He seems like he's in his own head. He's still only, 20 years old? 20, 21 years old, somewhere in there. The Brewers have now fallen to 4th place. They are 6 games back of the Chicago Cubs, who are in first with a 30-20 record. Brewers now 2 games under 500. Pittsburgh Pirates, who they travel to Pittsburgh starting tomorrow, right? First game is tomorrow, today, getaway day. And the series opens tomorrow against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Perhaps good for what ails the Brewers, as Pittsburgh is 17-33 on the year. Brewers, as I said, they have got some problems at the plate. Their starting pitching is just not healthy, and the bullpen is not nearly as good as it has been in years past. They are the very definition of a 500 team. I think ultimately they probably finish around 76, 77 wins, somewhere in there. Producer Eric is looking at me like I'm being way too optimistic. I don't think so. They somehow find a way to never be terrible. And unfortunately in baseball, that's not a good place to be. You know why? You can't rebuild. You can't just suck and lose 110 games a couple of years in a row like the Houston Astros and then just stockpile draft picks and win a World Series through questionable legal means. You also don't want to be the Colorado Rockies. Have you been following this story in baseball? The Rockies are off to a worse start than the Chicago White Sox last year. The White Sox set the all-time record. It stood forever. They somehow beat the amazing Mets. They lost, was it 114 games last year? They were the worst team, statistically speaking, in baseball history. Colorado is somehow even worse. They are 8-40. Eric, what were you going to tell me? 121. Man, that is way worse. Yeah, the amazing Mets, they lost 120 games. The Mets are still, that still to me is a more impressive stat because there were fewer games. 121 losses for Chicago, and Colorado is somehow on pace to beat that. But in baseball, especially for a team like the Brewers, if you're a middling team and you're just good enough to maybe squeak into the playoffs, you're probably never going to win a World Series. They can't do what the Dodgers and Mets do and just buy talent year after year after year. Oh, hey, let's pick up Shohei Ohtani. Real surprise, the Dodgers are one of the best teams in baseball. Big surprise, the Mets are one of the best teams in baseball. Their payrolls are astronomical. Brewers don't have that luxury, and I'm not saying they need to lose 100 games for a few years, but when you're in the middle of the pack in Major League Baseball, you're unfortunately nowhere. All right, out of time for today's show. Have no fear. We are back tomorrow afternoon, 3:06. We do it all again. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show.